Yo, welcome back to the Football Rig, another show of the Arsenal News Drilldown, where we dive into every Arsenal aspect of the world. I mean, it's the summer now, the transfer window is officially open, and I have the double champions here, Mr. Taryn. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. Big up to you, Sammy. Life is good right now, man. Big up to you. Big up to all the Arsenal fans across the world, fellow champions, and big up to my fellow New York Knickerbockers all around the world as well. Big you up, man. Thanks for having me.
Are you going to attend any World Cup games?
Yeah,
Taryn?
actually going to
Wow.
USA versus Australia down the street.
All right.
The 15th or the 19th.
You should be winning that. You should be winning it. But as Premier League champions, we are standing still, enjoying the summer, enjoying the World Cup as it was kicked off yesterday. While rivals scramble to catch Arsenal, the Gunners are already making moves behind the scenes. A brand new doctor has arrived at the club. I wish the doctor was here. I wanted him to weigh in on this a little bit, but he seems to be busy to tackle the injury issues that we have, the frustrated fans for years that we've been suffering and struggling with the injury records that we have. Meanwhile, Arsenal are preparing for departures, clearing space for the future. And speaking of the future, a highly rated young talent is on the way to North London. We're going to talk about him in a while. But that's not all. Reports from Italy suggest Arsenal are keeping a close eye on a certain talents that are there, midfielder as well as a winger. So we're going to also dive into that and talk about it. But hey, I mean, could these decisions define Arsenal's next era? We're gonna talk about it. Is it gonna add? Is it gonna improve our dominance? Let's break it all down on Arsenal News Drilldown. But before we start, Taryn, first of all, as a double whammy, as a champion in England and near almost a champion in the US as well for the New York Knicks. So tell me, how you feeling, buddy? How's that? How's that vibe being a champion, being a winner?
It's one of those things that they say winning breeds winning, but they're not connected, but you take it anyway. You know what I mean? Because my New York Yankees, the baseball team, aren't doing well. The NFL team aren't doing well. And the Knicks has been a dead team. Like the Arsenal broke a 22-year curse of the Premier League drought. It's been 53 years since the New York Knicks last won the title. Yeah, 1973.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So everything that you've seen on TikTok or Instagram, it's famine. People are starved, and that's manifesting itself into the streets being flooded with joy right now. 53 years, a whole generation of people. I've seen this team not win. So we're on the cusp of winning the NBA title against a team that's clearly the favorite of everyone else because they have Victor Wembanyama. He's a global sensation. For us to win a title against that bunch would mean a whole lot for New York City, man. So yeah, it's a great time to be an Arsenal fan. And if you're an Arsenal fan or a Knicks fan, big up to you. You have had a fantastic year of sports.
I do not doubt that, not a bit. I mean, I'm just an Arsenal fan, and I'm over the moon. I can't imagine having two teams for me winning, trophies, especially after a long drought. That is, it tastes differently. It tastes differently. But let's start the show. First of all, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. As well, make sure to subscribe to BBK. His channel will be on the description. Taryn, it's official that Arsenal have signed a new doctor, right? And speaking of which, I don't know much about this gentleman, but do you think this is something that we need, something that we have to look into, which is our medical department, right? I just want your thoughts about him. His name is, what is his name, man? Arnaldo Abarantes as a new doctor after Zafar Iqbal exits. So it seems that Arsenal are, changing in the dressing room as well. I don't know much about this gentleman, but what are your thoughts about Arsenal changing their medical team? You think there were the crutch and the issue of Arsenal's injuries and injury record that we have in recent years?
Yeah, there has to have been a fallout somewhere, and it seems like the Timber going to the World Cup and being sent home seem
We'll
to
talk about
the final straw that made whoever's in charge of this decision, whether Josh or Stan, has empowered someone to make this decision to let the head doctor go. Fair, but that seemed to have been the final straw. But we can't hide from the fact that we have an injury problem at Arsenal. Now, how that blame pie is divvied up between the coach and the medical staff, I don't think we have enough information to make those decisions. It's easy for us to sit here and say, hey, the coach is overplaying the players or the coach is playing them injured. But the coach is not a doctor. The manager is not a doctor. If the medical staff tells him that the players are clear, he can't read an x-ray. He can't read an MRI. He doesn't know what he's looking at. So if the medical department says this guy can play, this guy can train, then they have to trust the expertise of that medical professional. But how much of that's what I'm saying. We don't know what he's been telling Arteta. Hey, this guy can play, or this guy's cleared to play. He goes on international duty, and those doctors say this guy shouldn't even be running. There's a huge disconnect somewhere. So now next year, if the injuries continue, then we know it wasn't Zafar's fault. Now, if he leaves, now if this guy comes in and there's a drastic change and we go through the season with everyone fit where the guys are begging for minutes because they're fit and can't play, then clearly that will point more towards the doctor. Now, if the injuries continue at the same rate, we're going to be like, well, shit, the doctor left and the problems remain, so we can make our decision based on that information that we have in front of us. But yeah, man, there's something there. There's too much smoke here for there not to be a fire, because we've had a lot of injuries. Guys getting injuries, fresh injuries, reoccurring injuries, going on international duty, injured, come back, get injured. It seems to be too much, but I think that Timber one was really the straw that broke the camel's back. And listen, don't feel sorry for these guys. These guys get paid very well. This is the highest level of sports and medicine. You know what I mean? So they have a job to do. The players are our commodity. They are the future of our football club. So if the ownership feels like a change needed to be made to protect these players from themselves, I can hear it. But we will know we'll peel the onion back a little bit next season to see how the injuries go against us and see, because we will play in excess of 55 games next year, just like we did next year, because I'm expecting us to do well in all competitions. You know what I mean?
It seems like you change your stance a bit here, Taryn, and I'll explain what I mean by that. First of all, I just want to caveat that by the way, he's a former Olympic sprinter, so that means, he might understand what it means to exuberate a lot of energy. And
this guy here,
guy
here is an Olympic sprinter.
You can read it at the bottom. Arsenal set to appoint former Olympic sprinter.
Okay.
Right. I don't know if he's a winner, he's a golden winner, or whatever, but being a sportsman himself, by itself is something to add, right? That he understands what it means to be a sportsman, an athlete, and what the athlete needs sometimes. And I think the sprinters in general do tend to have intensive and more training when it comes to injuries and in terms of how to manage their energy consumption, because having a 100 meter or 200 meter or 300 meter sprint is something is for me it could be even more challenging than playing football. But however, I want to go back a little bit and because you told me a while ago, and I remember this, you brought up a graph or a table, I can't remember exactly, which showed a lot of minutes that has been played by Declan Rice, by Zubimendi, and you were hammering the manager by saying that, hey, we had Norgard on the bench who played only 50 plus minutes across the whole season, and we had a bunch of players who could have came in just like Skelly instead of just coming in the last month of the season to play in the midfield and to allow them to rotate. So you were really hammering the manager not to, and you said the key word is last stream you said rotation, right? And you've been echoing that hardly, I would say, that it should have been rotated. So am I seeing that you're saying no, it's the medical team's fault now, not the manager's fault, or I just want a clarification from you?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's an easy explanation. That's easy. The two names that you brought up, were Zubimendi and Declan Rice. Neither one of them had injury problems this season. Those guys were fit. This guy didn't get fired because of Zubimendi playing a whole lot of minutes and Norgard didn't. He didn't get
but
fired.
that's not what I meant, buddy. What I meant is when you are playing a lot of minutes, right? You are exposing yourself, or you are increasing the chances and possibility and the probability of getting injured, right? Like we saw with Odegaard, like we saw with Saka. They've been playing for multiple seasons. This is not just one season thing. I'm looking at across multiple seasons.
Well, it is one season for Zubimendi. This was his debut season. So big him up. He's one of the few mainstay midfielders to win a Premier League title in his debut season. So big up Zubimendi for that. But the Zubimendi Norgard disparity was alarming just on the sheer numbers. But Zubimendi was not injured. Declan Rice was not injured. So Zafar didn't lose his job because of Declan Rice or Zubimendi. He lost his job because of the abundance of injuries to Timber, to Benjamin White, to our captain, to Nani, to Gyökeres, who never even had injury problems. He comes to Arsenal.
Is the manager or the medical team?
Can I have
help? For those injuries? Are you saying it's the manager's fault, or are you saying it's the medical team's incompetence?
I brought up the graph that I used to highlight why Norgard wasn't playing. That wasn't an injury. That was strictly a rotation thing. Zubimendi didn't have any injury problems last year. Now, so the injuries to Timber and to Benjamin White and all this, that's what I'm saying. We don't have enough information. We don't know if the medical staff was clearing them to play or the manager was playing them against the wishes of the medical staff. If that's the case, then the medical staff or the guy who got fired, he is the fall guy and he's being blamed. So next year, if the injuries are on par with the same amount of injuries and the same amount of numbers, it won't be the same. But if it's close, so for example, say we had 40 injuries last year, next year we have 48, then it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his problem because the problem got worse. You know what I'm saying? But if he was saying, hey, this guy can't play, and Mikel goes against the wishes of the medical staff and plays him anyway, then obviously it's Mikel's fault. But if the medical staff said this guy is fit, who the hell is the manager with no medical experience to say that they aren't fit?
But according to Social Joins here, saying we had a different doctor every season. So the constant factor here is the manager.
I did not know that.
I don't know that either. I don't know how true is that, that we are changing doctors quite oftenly. But what I'm saying is, if that's true, then I think it's more also on Arteta. Maybe it's the training style, training regime, the intensity. I mean, we heard a lot of players somehow complain about how Arteta is very aggressive in training. They're doing, and so many times that I've been saying, I mean, he's doing a marine training. It's no longer footballing training, and that could be a major factor. Also, the part which you mentioned, which is rotation, is a factor. And it's an essential factor as well, that he's not rotating the players enough, which expose them to injuries as well. Like we've seen Saka. How many? Look at Saka, for instance. Let's take Saka.
He's a good example.
How many games? Yeah, he's a very good example. I mean, the guy has been playing a lot of minutes across the seasons, and he lost a mile of pace. We can see it. I mean, it's quite obvious. The guy's not running anymore. The guy's not taking down his man anymore. We're not seeing the same explosiveness from Saka, and I'm afraid that could be replicated among all the other players. Zubimendi has been here for one season. Rice is a good player. I don't want him to go down because of that. I mean, and the list goes on.
The thing with Saka, he's injured right now. I'm very scared. I'm worried about it because I hear Thomas Tuchel unprompted said he's been nursing or carrying an Achilles, and my eyeballs went, and you're playing him. That's why I asked the question, like, who's going to be the adult? Who's going to be the adult? Because if Arteta don't want to do it, the medicals, someone has to protect these players from themselves. You can't be playing football, Champions League football, Premier League football, World Cup football, and a bad Achilles, bro. Like these men that you're going to play against, they don't give a damn that you're Saka. You know what I mean? No one that Saka is going to play against in the World Cup against these other teams are making $300K a week. You know what I mean? They don't care. They will go in on hard on a tackle. But for example, if I'm Arteta, Sammy, you are my head of medical.
Okay.
And I said, hey, Sammy, this is my training regimen. It's rigorous. It's marine-like. It's military-esque. Do not send me any guys who can't. If you're the medical staff, you know what my training is like. If you don't think these guys, in your medical opinion, if you don't think these guys can carry out what I'm trying to do in training, tell me that they're not fit. So we got a squad of 25 guys. I come to you and say, how many guys we got today? You give me 12 guys. I'm going to trust that you understand that I said, if these 12 guys you're giving them to me, you're telling me that they're fit enough to carry out the rigorous training that I'm going to do. And I'm going to train with these guys. Now, if you tell me that they are not, and I still train them, that's my problem, my fault, my bad. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what that conversation was between Arteta and his medical staff. Because if the medical staff goes out there to a guy on a bad Achilles and says, Bukayo, go sit down, your Achilles is bad, you're going to pop it. And then Arteta says, nah, Bukayo, get your ass back on the pitch. We have more training to do. Then that's a problem for me. I'm just saying we don't know that.
Okay, fair enough. But ultimately, do you think the medical team should have the upper hand and the last word when it comes 100%. To the fitness of the players? 100%. Or do you think Arteta can overrule whatever decision they make? And when they say, like, okay, we think Saka is 60-70% fit, does Arteta have the right to play him, let's say? Or how do you think the dynamic should be between the medical team and the coaching staff team?
See, with Saka specifically, now that we know that it's Achilles, I would be very interested to see how the hell you put a percentage on an Achilles. You know what I mean?
Like, no, I'm saying in general, obviously not Saka.
That's what I'm saying. The medical professional should always have the final say on a player's fitness or injury. And this is the part that's tricky for me. The medical staff, whose interest do they have at heart, the player or the club? Because the club is the one who pays them.
Should be the players' health.
In the NBA, right? In the NBA, whenever players are injured, especially high-profile players, they get a second opinion. They don't trust the team doctors because the team doctor for the Lakers is paid by the Lakers. He's not paid by the players. So players always get a second opinion. So maybe that's what some of these high-profile, especially players like Bukayo, like Thomas Tuchel, his allegiance is to the Football Association. Arteta's allegiance is to Arsenal. You as Bukayo, your allegiance has to be your health because that's how you make your money. So you need to get a independent opinion on your Achilles on whether or not you should be playing football. And if that doctor say you shouldn't be playing football, then you don't play football. But the medical professional should always have the final say. Always. It shouldn't even be up for debate. I don't care if it's a final. You don't play players injured. You play players hurt, but you don't play them injured.
I agree with you. And Social Joins attempt to agree with you as well. The medical team is failing, letting actual club assist and depreciate crazy work. But speaking of injuries, and this is what you just brought up also briefly about him, which is Timber. Now, this is a very good example we can talk about in debate. Okay. So if the guy is injured, as you can see now, it's official that he's not going to be playing for Netherlands due to injury. Do you think he was carrying this injury in the final?
Yeah, because if he wasn't, he would have started. If he was fit, he would have started because you saw the difference when he came on because he can defend better than Mascara. And when he gets on the ball going forward, he's better than anyone. You know what I mean? So he clearly, and listen, I knew he wasn't fit. We knew he wasn't fit from match week 25 on.
I thought he wasn't match fit. You know what I mean? Like match fit, but not injured.
Yeah, I knew he was injured. I knew he was because I don't believe in coincidences. Because as soon as Benjamin White went down, the following morning, Timber was back in training. I don't believe that's a coincidence. You know what I mean?
So you think they pushed him?
Yeah, they pushed him. He pushed him last year. He said that last year that he was injured and he was taking shots for the semifinal. So if he pushed him for a semifinal, he damn sure is going to push him for a final because we actually had a chance of winning this final. What's the price?
When you say pushed him, who did?
Good question. Now, Mikel says to the medical staff, "Hey, between him and Mascara, this game can go 120 minutes, which it did. Between him and Mascara, can you give me 60 minutes? Can you give me an hour?" Who said yes? Was it the player? Because I don't believe.
So you think?
Because medical professionals, Sammy, they take an oath.
They green lighted basically.
Yeah. But medical professionals have ethical guidelines that coaches don't have to follow. You can lose your medical license for malpractice. You know what I mean? You can be sued for doing dumb shit to one of your patients.
True.
Mikel is not bounded by that. He can play them. You know what I mean? So I'm compelled to believe that it's not the doctor, because they're around these players and they become close with the players, and they may not be Arsenal fans, but I don't know any doctor, any medical professional who are going to risk their career or risk their reputation to practice medicine to appease the manager. So I believe it was, whether it's manipulation or it's coercion, or it's just the player on adrenaline, a combination of the player wanting to play, the manager being a lunatic, or the medical staff being scared to say, no, he can't play. I don't know how much of the pie to divvy up between them, but I'm more inclined to lean on the coach and the player, because I just don't believe that doctors are willing to just risk their careers like that, or risk their reputation to just appease a coach. You know
well, I mean? In that case, you'd approach things conservatively, right? You'd be conservative in your approach. Say, hey, listen, we think he's not ready. Even if he's like 99% ready, if there's a small doubt that he's not fit, then I'll say he's not fit. Yeah. He's not 100% fit.
Yeah, and I can also. And at lower levels of football, you know that you can't play for a 90 minutes, but you know you could play for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? I'd be like, coach, I could give you 15 today. I'm just coming back from this injury. I want to take it easy. I can give you. And there's a difference between the first 15 of a match and the last 15. You know what I mean? So
that's a very high risk.
It is. It is. But, you know, like, who makes that decision? The manager.
Well, that's the question I'm posing to you, because it seems that Arteta is running away with murder, in my opinion, because he just won the league. So the board are gonna back him up no matter what. Now, whatever he says, they say, hey, listen, I got you the league with my way, and it has to be my way, regardless of his way. If it's suitable for the players, is it intensive training, is it this or that? I mean, at the end of the day, I see the manager. I think he's supposed to make the final call, and if the medical team say, hey, he's not fit, then he shouldn't risk it, unless you really don't trust your bench. You really don't trust your players. You don't trust Mosquera. You don't trust whoever's on the bench, regardless of Timber. Let's take another case. Any player, let's say if Saka is 50% fit, then he's not trusting Madueke. If Rice is not fit, he's not trusting Norgard or Skelly or whoever, or Marino. So for me, ultimately, it goes down to the manager. You say, okay, if you don't think that you're 100% fit, it's okay. We can find a workaround here. We're going to play Marino. We're going to play X or Y or Z, and we can manage this game at least, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't risk it and destroy a player's career for a match. Yeah, it's a final. It's the UCL, understandable. But as you know, the defenders, out of all players on the pitch, they're the most players who get really physical, right? They're going to have physical interaction with the players. They're going to defend. They're going to tackle. So they are tending to have more chances of getting injured than a striker, for instance, or than a winger, or than a goalkeeper, for example.
Yeah, like someone mentioned it in my chat yesterday, that the doc is potentially being the fall guy, and I hear that shout, because if you're the Cronkies, if you have to fire either the coach or the head of your medical department, Arteta right now is, like it or not, he is the face of Arsenal in the eyes of the concrete, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so he is their guy. So it's an easy decision to just make someone who we didn't even know their name, Zafar. This is the first time I'm seeing his name, to be the fall guy. But halfway through next season, we get to January, and we're still having injury issues the third year in a row, because last year the injuries were horrific as well. And this year the injuries are horrific, but we have consolation in the Premier League trophy. Next year, if we're going into a third season and guys are just breaking down left and right, clearly, okay, you done cleaned out the back room. Yeah, this is a rotation, a training, and a minutes allocation issue, and that only comes down to one person. That falls at the feet of the manager.
Okay, at least we've reached to a point where we're meeting in the ground, because I think Arteta is a big factor in terms of the injuries. I'm not going to give him a leeway. I'm not going to give him an excuse just because he won the league. Because ultimately we want our players to be fit for next season, for the upcoming seasons, and also when it comes to the development of the player. I mean, when the player is getting a lot of injuries, I don't think I do think that his development plan is kind of ridiculed or hindered by those injuries, right? Because you want to take the next step in your career. You want to learn new skills, new things, and you're not going to be able to do that if you're injured. If you are continuously injured. I mean, that is just against the law of physics. So that's why I need also Arteta to see whatever solution that he can find within the training regiment, or within, like you said, I like what you're emphasizing, rotation. Work on that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, Simon. So next year,
go ahead.
We played 60-something games this year. Even if he gets rotation right next year, and I expect him to do better with his rotation.
Right.
If we're playing 60-something games next year, just by the volume of minutes, guys will get injured. That's part of sport. Right? Injuries is a part of. That's why when people make excuses about injuries, we say, no, you can't, because injuries are a part of the sport. That's why you have a squad, right? Now, let me ask you. With the amount of injuries that we've had, would you be willing to prioritize trophies and cups next season?
Obviously, yes.
So you'd be willing to throw the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup in the bin in order to win the Premier or the Champs?
No, I wouldn't.
That's what I mean by prioritize.
No, I will not prioritize any cup. I would go all in for all cups. So I mean, look at the early stages of those domestic cups, specifically like the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. You know that you're facing easy opponents. Let's call it how it is, right? Relatively, right?
Relatively, league team in the third round at the FA Cup.
You might, but the chances are higher to face a second division or a third division or whatever, right? Like the Grimsbys of these world and all these clubs. So for those particular games that are relatively easy on paper, then you should play your second team.
Yeah, that's true. I get that.
Right. So I'm not expecting you to play your first team against those teams. I'm sorry.
But those games are usually played in August, September. When you get to the rounds where you can face Premier League teams, you're also playing PSG and Bayern midweek. Yeah,
maybe
as the season gets later. So I'm asking, do you have the appetite, or do you think the fan base has the appetite to prioritize, say, for example, to prioritize the Champions League over the Premier League, because the Premier League gauntlet is really where most of our injuries
okay, fair enough. All right, let me reverse that, or revert back to the question. If you're facing, let's say, Fulham, for instance, okay, a Premier League team, okay, you genuinely don't believe that your second team is better than Fulham. Let's be honest. On paper, obviously. On paper. No, let's say they're playing their first team.
Yeah,
don't you think your second? Go ahead.
Most of these teams, for example, a Bournemouth or a Fulham, who are not playing in Europe, when they draw Arsenal in a cup, they're gonna play their full team. And if we are playing,
that's what I'm saying. Now, my assumption is they're gonna play their first team. Mm-hmm. You don't think your B team can beat them?
They can, but if you look at Pep's dominance of the Carabao over the years, when he was dominant, winning it in 3 years in a row, he played Kevin De Bruyne in these games. He played Gundogan. He played strong teams.
And early stages.
Yeah, he would. He would. Sometimes I would look at the lineup. I'm like, damn, like Leroy Sané against Port Vale and shit. You know what I mean? So going into the season, you build a strong enough squad to deal with these things. And I'm not gonna lie, when Fulham and Bournemouth and all these other teams draw Arsenal, we do get a pretty good showing from them, because they know that's a big deal if they knock out Arsenal out of a competition. I don't think this fan base has the appetite to prioritize a Champions League over a Premier League trophy. And if you go deep in both these competitions, we're gonna get injuries. It's a lot of
Look, when you say rotation, obviously you're not going to rotate 11 players. You're going to keep some. But you got to manage those minutes. Let's say, okay, you're going to play Fulham, or you're going to play, I don't know, Nottingham Forest, for instance, in a cup, right? You don't have to go the main midfielders. You can go Moreno, Zubimendi, and let's say Nwaneri, for example, okay? And you can go up front with Madueke, Martinelli if he's still there, and Havertz, or whoever we're gonna bring in, if we're gonna bring in a striker. The defenders, you don't need to play Gabriel and Saliba. You can play Gabriel and Mosquera, or you can play Saliba and Mosquera, or something like that, right? So that's the rotation I'm looking for, right? And by the way, even in the league, you can do that. If your team is in form and you think those players that you are playing, the starting 11, are good and fit, these players are good. Mosquera is good. Mikel Moreno is good. Zubimendi is good. We do. Nwaneri is perfect as well. So we think that those players are capable and have the potential to win. I'll give another example. Maybe it's not a good example, because when we played Crystal Palace in the last game, who played in the 10?
It was Max.
And we looked amazing. And maybe they're not playing their first team because they were playing the final, if I'm not mistaken. But still, I mean, what I'm trying to say, look at the team that we played, and yet we performed in a very high level. Yeah, right? Because these players are all training in the same training ground. I'm not training the B squad alone and the A squad alone. You know, it doesn't work like that. The whole team is training together, so they know the tactics of the manager. They know what kind of football they want to play, the brand of football. They know everything that they need to know to win. So Arteta has, provided for them the tools to win, right? So this is the kind of rotation that he needs to make.
And I fully understand your rotation concept. My when I speak of rotation, it's a little bit wider for me.
Okay.
Everything you just said, but I will add this. I don't even mind. Say, for example, Zubimendi played all 38 games, just like he did. He played all 38. He started 34. But if you start 38 games and you only play 60 minutes in all 38 games, that's rotation.
Oh, okay.
Versus you play 90 minutes for 30 games, and you can burn out that way quicker. I'm saying when I'm seeing Saka coming,
so it's about the minutes, basically.
Yeah, when I see Saka coming on the pitch against Preston North End, we're up 3-0.
Yeah, that was madness.
You know what I'm saying? That's bad management. You know what I mean? So you can start Zubimendi all you want, but don't play him for 90 minutes every damn game. Take him off at the hour mark. Those 30 minutes over 38 games will equate to 10 or 12 games. And
I agree with that.
I'm sure he has someone who manages, who can help him with this. But like, hey, this guy is running in the red because they have played the past 10 games. Now, your center backs and stuff, I understand you don't want to tinker with that too much during game. Then when that's when I like your concept of rotation. Mosquera comes in, Saliba gets a full 90 rest. But the midfielders and the attackers, you can rotate those guys in and out game by game based on minutes and matchups. Against a Man City team where we're under the cot, you don't want to be chopping and changing. You may want to be more defensive. But against fucking Wolves coming to the carpet, you have more rotation options. What I'm saying, you know what I mean?
Do you think Social Jones is right?
Mikel don't trust his bench. MLS game week 35 bench for Ethan for a month. But the problem I have with Mikel not trusting his bench is that the bench has saved him on so many occasions. Right, because when Odegaard got injured at the Emirates in 2 games against Forest and Leeds, Ethan came on and the game went up a level. You know, Eze has come off the bench and saved his ass many, many times. Now, when I was looking at the Champions League final, and I'm looking at PSG taking players off and making their team weaker. We were bringing players on, and we were meant to be stronger because you're bringing on Eze and you're bringing on Gyökeres, and you're taking off Vitina and your Ballon d'Or winner. So you're weaker, we're getting stronger. So for whatever reason, he doesn't trust his bench. And the thing with Skelly, I don't believe him that it took him 35 weeks because you played Skelly last year. Skelly was starting
as a midfield
last year. You know
no, but in this context, I think that he meant midfield because the game week 35, that's when we first saw MLS as a midfielder.
No, we
I don't think he
see
meant
MLS
as
as a midfielder all the time. He just lines up at left back, just like Zinchenko did. He lined up at left back. The advantage is the overload that he gave you in midfield. Like, he knew this. He just didn't want to do it. And when he did it, it worked so well, he just couldn't avoid the question. Because everyone is saying that's the best half of football we played all year. Now,
especially against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, if we did that in match week 5, yeah, if we did that, if he had played Skelly, Rice, and Eze in his midfield in match week 5 and it worked, I don't think he would have stuck with that. It would have still been chopping and changing going on. Because he believes that Skelly, I think he believes that Odegaard is a better 8 than Skelly.
He believes Odegaard is the best player on the pitch, man. Period. So
yeah, so I think that overrides the talking point that he doesn't trust. I think he just favors these guys more because everyone with eyes can see that the way Skelly retains the ball. Like, Mikel, if you like possession, you should like Skelly because he helps us keeps the ball better. The Atletico game that you just referenced, when they started to come on to us and started to press us because we went ahead in the game, Skelly took over. They started to press us. He's one of our most press-resistant midfielders. So he doesn't have a separate set of eyes. He knows that Skelly is a bad boy. He just favors Odegaard.
And Zubimendi.
That had to be a contractual thing. That had to be.
Yeah.
He's playing off 38 games. It had to be. It does. Why was he even dressed against Palace?
Big up Denzel, man. Man, your country's. Wait, did you guys get 3 red cards? I saw 2.
South Africa.
South African, yeah.
They got 2. It was 3 red cards in the game, but 2 for them, 1 for Mexico.
They were a shit show, bro. Oh my god, that's the worst opening game that I watched ever in the World Cup. I'm sorry, Denzel.
Yeah, you must have never. You must have been
sorry,
Bolivia and Germany in '94.
2 for you and 1 for Mexico. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Man, that game. Well, Mexico played very well, I think. But anyways, guys, make sure to hit the like. Make sure you guys subscribe. Also, make sure to subscribe to BBK as well. The channel is in the description. Go show him some love. Shall we move on from the medical situations towards the outgoings of Arsenal Football Club? It seems that a player is getting closer and closer to leave Arsenal Football Club, and I believe the rumors are being said that we might see an offer soon coming from Beşiktaş. The Turkish team are preparing an official offer around about 20 million euro. So I think sell. In my opinion, I don't think you're going to get a better offer. There are some teams that are interested. Italian teams are interested, as well as Aston Villa could be interested. But who would you consider to sell for, or you're just going to sell to the highest bidder?
Highest bidder, man. Like, if we can get 20 million euro for Trossard 4 years after we played 20-something million for him, I don't. Obviously, it's a loss because you're selling them for less. But I mean, we got. I want to say you got 2 good seasons out of him and a Premier League title. You know what I mean? He has his
goal.
Yeah, but we know what Trossard was, right? We would never expect it. He was supposed to be a stopgap player while we find us a serviceable left winger and an upgrade on Martinelli. For some reason, we held on to Martinelli longer than I thought we would. But if you can get 20 million for how old is Trossard?
I think he's approaching 30.
He's 31. Yeah, he is 31. Okay. Making 180K a week. If you can get that off the books, highest bidder, man. Yeah, because
you sell him to Aston Villa.
I'll trade him for Morgan Rogers with some cash if it'll lower the price. You know.
No, forget about Rogers for a second. Would you sell him to a Premier League team? And especially Aston Villa. Aston Villa are the top 4 race here and there.
I don't see Villa as a threat at all. I don't see Villa as a threat. Even if we don't get Morgan Rogers, this Villa team. Matter of fact, next year they're finishing lower than what they finished this year because they're in the Champions League now. Like, Unai Emery isn't that guy. You know what I mean? Unai Emery, if you want 4th through 7th in the Europa League, he is your guy. I don't see Villa as a threat. Like Villa, nah. Like there's too many people propping up this Villa thing. Like, nah, brother, they're not a threat to us right now. You know what I mean? So yeah, if they can afford him, but I don't think Villa is in a position to pay any type of money for anyone because they have turned into a loan house over the past couple of years. They've been rotating and recycling Man United wingers from Sancho, Rashford. Shit, they might go back to Rashford since Barcelona don't want him. But I'm not worried about selling them to Villa as it's a rival. Villa, Aston Villa, hear me and hear me well. You are not the rivals of Arsenal. No, you're not. I don't know. There's like a Europa League and a couple of Champions League finish. Because I see a lot of forced beef, a bunch of forced rivalry. Even Liverpool are doing this, trying to force a rivalry with Arsenal. We're not rivals, bro. It's not. You're not. We got it's Man United, Chelsea, then Tottenham. So it's
Tottenham.
Because they shouldn't even be in the Prem still. But those are our three rivals. I'll happily send him to Villa.
But it's not a bad show what you just mentioned, the swap deal, right? If you offer Trossard plus cash,
because then we're getting Morgan Rodgers for 60 million. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Something like that, but also in a sense of giving Aston Villa a player that they want. Also, almost I wouldn't say a similar profile than as Rodgers, but at least attacking player. It's they will not be looking for another player that we gave you a good player as well. They might gonna go and sign because we're gonna give them a bunch of money. I mean, 60 million is a lot. You can buy whoever you want. Yeah. But for me, I agree with you. The highest bidder. But it seems that Besiktas so far are the most serious team that are going to offer 20 million, and I think also to satisfy Trossard with 7 million annual salary. Yeah. So
I think he would do well at Villa. I actually think he would do well at Villa because
I think he would do good at any English Premier League team. I mean,
yeah, but especially at Villa because there's no pressure there. He could play. There's no Premier League pressure at Villa. There was pressure at Arsenal, and there's even going to be even more pressure next year. You know what I mean? So that's why we're upgrading.
So she joins for both.
I would judge Berta for both. It's more of acquisitions for me, and here's why I joined. I would say it's more acquisitions for me because he doesn't have anything to do with some of these shit contracts that he inherited. Because Berta would have never put Havertz on that money, would have never put Jesus on that money. So
you're talking about the current players, but overall that should be part of his KPI, don't you think?
No, but I'm saying if you're inheriting our third choice,
let's say we moved out all of this deadwood. Let's say we moved out Jesus, Trossard, whoever you want to say moved out from Edo's era. Let's say, right? So then sales should be part of the KPIs that I'm gonna judge Berta.
But that's a different question. That's a different question.
Well, that's what he says. Do we judge Berta on players' sales instead of acquisitions?
The players that we want to sell are on bad contracts that Berta had nothing to do with, is what I'm saying. So
in that case, yes, I agree with you.
So the players that we want to sell, Jesus and Havertz, they're damn near impossible to move to no fault of Berta. Now, if Berta wants to, if he wants to sell Madueke and can't get rid of him, then that happened on
that's on him.
Yeah,
that's on him.
Yeah, that's on you. But if in the event that he's able to move as Jesus, then he is Don Berta for real. If he can get someone to take this shit contract with a player with 2 bad ACLs, then that's fair play to him. But I'm not gonna hold him. I'm not gonna give him a bad grade if he can't move Jesus or Havertz, because these contracts are bad, bro. They're terrible contracts.
Speaking of which, it seems that Juventus are leading the race, or you shall say, they want to replace Dusan Vlahovic this summer with Jesus.
I love that. I love that for him, and I love that damn Vlahovic flopped at Juve. Oh man, this is a sweet petty story for me. That motherfucker, because I remember I used to watch Curtis Shaw TV and AFTV back when I lived in Germany, where we needed a striker bad. We were down bad, and we would. I don't even think these men would.
I remember.
Daily Dusan. That's what they used to call it, the Daily Dusan links. And man chose Juve over us, and now we're Premier League champions, and is about to be replaced by an Arsenal player. I love it. But yeah, Juve, they are the poster boys of a club that you mismanage, because these men went from winning like what 9 of 10 Scudettes to struggling to get Champions League football now.
They're cheaters, bro.
Yeah, I would love this. I would love to get this guy off our books and get him to Juve, because I mean, make no mistake about it, cheaters or whatever, they're still a massive club. It's still a massive.
Yeah, cheaters, bro. If Gianni's here, he can weigh in on this, but for me, the Serie A teams, bro, are cheaters, man.
Yeah,
they're absolute mafias, man.
Yeah,
maybe Napoli. Okay, I like Napoli.
Maybe they can do the something with this one for Yildiz, isn't it? Even though I'm not high on the Yildiz train, because I think the Serie A tax is a real thing.
The Doc likes the player. Yeah, I don't personally. I don't.
But then I asked Doc, why is it that these men from the Premier League who wash out of the Prem go to that league and just look like they're world beaters? Is it the coaching in Italy that good? Or
Scott McTominay, bro, is a Ballon d'Or nominee.
He has played well there. He has played well there. Like with the Napoli games that I watch, he looks like a player. I seen Amendola Lookman flush out of Fulham, flush out of Everton, go to Atalanta, look like a boss. You know what I'm saying? I seen Lukaku dominate that league. I'm seeing Chris Smalling flush out of United and go to Roma and look like a world beater. I seen Tammy Abraham go to that league and cook. I see it's just that league. That's why it's one of the reasons, if not the main reasons, why I'm not up on this 100 million for Yildiz thing. I don't. Just not.
Would you take Leao for half that price?
Half the price. The price makes it attractive. I won't lie.
50.
But when I watch Leao, man, I just don't think he meets the ethos of our. He just brother be like he can't be asked when he's on the pitch sometimes.
All right. Listen, I wanna give you a couple scenarios, but I'll do that when we talk about the incoming and the Arsenal players that we're interested in. Okay. So far, we are talking about the players that are outgoing. So obviously, Jesus move on and just sell the guy. Yeah, and if you're getting 18 or to 20 million for this guy, I mean, that is a bargain.
He's going, bro.
That is a bargain.
He can't.
And I would salute. Yeah, I would salute Berta if he managed to do that, bro. I would. If you can sell this guy, I mean, what a sales. Now another player, and I'm 100% sure I quite know what your response will be. Is Ethan. There has been interest from Chelsea. As we know, Chelsea are attracted to young players in general. That's their model. That's their style right now when it comes to players they sign from the market is the youth, right? They always target the youth. And to be honest, I see it as, what's his name? Cole Palmer. You remember Cole Palmer when he stepped in Manchester City first time?
Mm-hmm. Scored against us in the Community Shield.
Yeah, he was good, right? And Ethan even better, because Ethan did it in a high level. He played for the first team last season as well. So if they sign Nwaneri, let's say for 40-50 million, right, somewhere around there, and he turns out to be a baller, like a serious baller, just like what Cole Palmer did in that wonder season of his, do you think Nwaneri would look into that and say, okay, I think I can do even better than Palmer at Chelsea, and they can trust me, and I can be a first squad player instead of having all these doubts in Arsenal Football Club where they don't trust me and they're trying to move me here and there with loans and stuff. Would you consider that as Ethan, if you're Ethan?
No, hell.
Now remove the Arsenal hat for a sec, Taryn.
No. Hell no. Mm-mm. But before I get to Ethan himself, if Berta does this, he should be sacked. If Berta pays 50 million for Madueke and then sell Ethan to Chelsea for less, sackable offense. 100%. This guy has proven that he belongs at. The loan was a bad idea. I think the loan itself should convince the board to keep him, because the loan was a disaster.
Yeah, it wasn't a good spell.
Yeah, it was an absolute disaster. Now, is Arsenal, sit down in your board meetings when you go into your depth chart and you look at each other, Stan, Josh, Berta, Mikel, whoever, and you say, is our chances of winning the Premier League again, or are we a better team with or without Ethan? Anyone in that room who says we're better without him should be sacked and slapped. Ethan is our future, bro. We can't be mortgaging the future of our football club while we have players that he's better than in the squad.
Wait. I want to entertain this from Social Joy. Social Joy is saying, Elliot Anderson got no Champions League experience and he's 120 million. Let's say this is the actual price that's offered from Chelsea, 80 million. Would you sell him?
No, he's our future. He's the future.
80 million. You wouldn't sell him.
Oh no, we're not selling Ethan. The sticking point for me is that we're gonna sell Ethan and keep players that he's better than. So we're making our team weaker. Sell Nani or loan Nani and play Ethan. I'll be all right with that. I'll be all right, because I don't want us to loan out a whole bunch of players, because I know we're gonna play in excess of 58 games next year, maybe even 60 or the same amount of games. So if you're gonna loan someone, loan Nani. Shit, loan him back to Chelsea. But you keep Ethan and you play him. Ethan is a better left wing option than Nani, and he is better in the middle of the park than other players.
You don't have to convince me, Taryn. I promise you don't have to convince me. I am convinced. I'm in the boat with Ethan Wanier.
I'm not selling him. No, I'm not selling him. Not for
it's
80
fine.
million.
It's fine.
No,
it's fine. I got it. But the problem is not me and you or the fans, right? I think genuinely the fans do like Ethan Wanier, and they do rate him highly, even higher than Madueke, and some even higher than Odegaard. But the question is, does Arteta see that in him? Will he play Ethan Wanieri? Is he going to keep Ethan Wanieri? Right? That is the genuine question. Not me. And personally, I want Ethan, bro. And I think he's a baller. And I think he can, elevate Arsenal Football Club in the foreseeable future, even not the far future, not a long-term project.
I think there were many, many games this year after we loaned out Ethan where Arteta realized, oh shit,
big outreach.
Yeah, he made a mistake. The Southampton game jumps out at me in particular because we went out the FA Cup in that game. Ethan in that game, right. We could have used him. There have been many, even Premier League games, we could have used him. He's a top talent. He's a top talent.
He is.
I don't like the message it would send. Like it's like, if the Cronkies are doing this, it would remind me of what they did with the Denver Nuggets when they won it with the one NBA title, and just, okay, we won you a title. Now we're going to pay one guy Jokic, and then we're going to sell all the rest of the pieces. That's going to help us win. Like the one championship was enough. No, we need to be strengthening from a position of strength, and bringing Ethan back into the fold makes us stronger, I believe. And I think that's worth way more than 80 million.
Okay.
Chances I'm selling this young boy. We can't mortgage our future, man. You know what I mean? Because if we sell Ethan for 80 million and keep Nani and keep all these men, in 2 years we'll be looking for a replacement for Saka, and it's going to cost us 100, even more.
Look, Arteta rates Madueke higher than Ethan, and that's quite obvious, right? I don't rate Madueke not a bit. Even as a Premier League winner, as a champion, I don't rate Madueke, bro. I still don't.
Did you see us missing a friendly the other day?
No, I didn't watch it.
Brother, it's an open goal. It was harder to miss. He was harder to miss. If he was trying to score.
You know what's worse, Terry? It's not that just that the friendly. You heard also that some players were filling in when it comes to the training of England, and Ethan was one of them, right? And that is the heartbreaking part for Ethan. Looking at a player as dumb as Madueke is playing over him, where he believes that.
I actually like that for Ethan being around the World Cup squad.
It's good, obviously, for him. But looking at who's playing instead of him is sad. Right.
Yeah, but
it's sad to see
Madueke. He's not going to start any World Cup games unless England already qualifies. Saka's going to start with his bad Achilles. Yeah. So Ethan being there is a good experience for me. And I actually understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand why Tuchel brought Madueke to the World Cup. You know what I mean? I understand it, but I don't agree. I think Jared Bowen would have been a better fix. But, you know, he's going to bring guys, squad players who he knows are going to do what he asks of them. And even if they don't play, it's calm. Because if he brings Phil Foden and he brings Cole Palmer, the minute he doesn't play them, the media is going to be on his ass. Why ain't Cole playing? Why ain't Palmer playing? And no one going to ask him why Madueke not playing so that he can focus on the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing for me. I mean, it's not only for him mentally as Ethan, seeing this, and he is not young anymore. He's not 16. He's not 15. He's not. No, he's getting to his prime years, and he's getting to the age where he's supposed to be played as many minutes as possible. And he's not getting that from Arsenal Football Club. He's not getting that from Mikel Arteta. And that is the genuine...
But they told him he would get it. That's why he signed a new contract this past summer. I believe that promises were made, right? So, obviously, if the promises were made, the framework had to be there for him to play. Now, as the season unfolded and things and priorities changed, fair play. You won the Premier League, Mikel. So, whatever you did... you can lean back and be like, you know what, I had to do this to win the Premier League title. Now that we have the Premier League title, I understand the experiences that I went through last season will help me find more minutes for you. Or the rotation that we're talking about. Odegaard plays 60, he plays 30. Some games Odegaard doesn't play at all, he'll start. Mikel, he has to learn something from a Premier League campaign, surely. You just went through a gauntlet of a Premier League, 2 finals, took the Champions of Europe to a final. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. I know he is a stubborn prick and all that stuff, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt of learning through experience, Premier League winning experience. He has that in the bag now. And hopefully that helps him manage the players better, including this one.
I agree, Taryn. Man, it's frustrating to even talk about or even entertain this topic that even Chelsea wants to sign him, because I can see a Cole Palmer. I just can see it, that they would pay 50 or 55 or 60 million and would secure Ethan 1 year, and he's going to be probably their best player, right?
But if you're Ethan, though, and you look at Chelsea, you think that's a good fit for him? That shit show. 2 billion FC sitting in 10th. Because there's going to be less minutes for him because they're not even in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Between Pedro Neto over there and Cole Palmer over there, and they're going to go sign some more, or Esteval, that's over there, Palmer in the 10. If he goes to Chelsea, if he chooses to do that, then that will say something about his mental makeup. Like someone who's choosing to go to Tottenham right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, brother. Like, what's your mental makeup? Big up, Godfrey. So if he chooses to go to Chelsea, maybe then, he doesn't have the right mental makeup, and then maybe Mikel was right about him. You can't choose Chelsea over Arsenal right now, bro. You cannot. Romans Chelsea. Yes. Romans Chelsea. Ashley Cole did it. Worked out for him pretty well. Like Giroud did it. Worked out.
That was different circumstances. Just because Arsenal wouldn't pay.
So if he voluntarily leaves Premier League champions, primed to repeat, to go play or to not play for Chelsea, because I actually believe, with all things being equal, if the transfer window closes right now and we go on, I think he will play more minutes for Arsenal than he would if he went to Chelsea, because they have 1 game a week.
Well, first we need to welcome TK.
Big up
T.
Big up, guys.
Would you like to weigh in to this conversation, T? Obviously, we're talking about Ethan and the lack of minutes that he's getting at Arsenal and all these loan spells that he's been, introduced to, and also Chelsea are lurking around and they might want to sign him. Do you see a Cole Palmer happening here?
I mean, first of all, big up to you guys.
Love, bro.
Knicks in 6.
Hey.
Let's go Knicks.
Hey.
Let's go Turkey as well in the in the World Cup.
Big up.
Bro, BBK, I just want to say my respect levels for you guys went up like 5 levels. after watching this game at 4 a.m. I was like, bro, is this what Americans do in the Premier League every week, bro?
Every week.
You know what I'm saying?
Every week. It's mad.
It's crazy, bro. Crazy. So big up to you guys. Yeah, about the situation, bro. You know what I think about Ethan? My opinion was always that Madueke never should have joined us, and this guy should have been the Saka backup from the beginning, from day dot. Especially after what we saw not last season, but the season before, scoring some brilliant goals. Also against the likes of Manchester City, you know, the 5-1 when he scored outside the box, you know what I'm saying? This guy showed already glimpses of being a brilliant, brilliant player, and just letting him go, just because it's pure profit, for me, it's just, I personally don't F with that idea. You know what I'm saying? I personally am not, you know, if I have the chance, I would sell Madueke over this guy personally.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But that's just, in my opinion, the most obvious thing to say at this moment of time. This guy's a top talent. Chelsea wanted him last year, and we said no. So if we let him go to Chelsea, especially after all the crap they've been selling to us, and we send them a top talent, bro, for me, and trust me, this guy won't be as expensive, especially because it's Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? We will sell this guy for maybe like 40, 50. You know, I don't see us getting like the big bucks, like 80, 90. You know what I'm saying? What you normally expect from such a talent. You know,
Would you sell him for 80, T?
Bro, at least if we want to sell him, at least 80, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know why?
No, would you? Now the question is, would you?
No. I'm still a firm no, in my opinion. I would rather sell other Deadwood out of this team before I would sell Ethan personally.
Facts.
But bro, if you look at the market right now and the asking price for a lot of these players, the Andersons, the Whartons, and especially that Alex Scott guy from fucking Bournemouth, bro. You know what I'm saying? Bro, they want like 80 million for that guy, bro. And you're telling me that guy is worth 80 million and Ethan is not? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's one of them situations where we're just gonna screw ourselves over if we sell this guy for too cheap, if we want to sell him. But for me, I wouldn't sell him in the first place. Just like I said, what I said about Ben White, the market right now is very tough to find replacement for these players. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard to find better players than the players that we have currently right now. And Ethan is one of them, in my opinion. You sell him, who are you going to replace him with? A 16-year-old called Max, you know what I'm saying, who just finished his GCSEs, bro, who is now on summer vacation. You know what I'm saying? It's bro, you know what I'm saying, bro? So for me, it's I would much rather sell anyone before I would sell this guy. You know what I'm saying? So for me, no, I'm even if it's 80 million minimum, I still wouldn't sell him personally.
I agree with you, T. But I have to look at it from the club's perspective. And when I say the club's perspective, I'm looking at the financials. I'm looking at the manager, and it seems that the manager do not rate him. Otherwise, he wouldn't loan him out. Otherwise, he wouldn't buy Madueke to start with. Also, from financial perspective, that he would be considered as a pure profit, regardless of the amount, 40, 50, 60, 70.
Yeah, the problem is, though, Sammy, and we've seen this with Arteta before, he always thinks one way, and then he is forced to go the other, and then he realizes, hey, this way is not even that bad. You know what I'm saying? He realizes that it's actually working. For example, playing MLS in the midfield. For example, he was forced to play some of these players when other players were injured. And then he realized, hey, bro, these guys are ballers, bro. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, Arteta having this pre-judgment of these players is not always how should I say, he's not always right. You know what I'm saying? If anything, he's mostly wrong. You know? Remember when he didn't want to play Saliba back in the day, and the fans basically forced him to play Saliba at some point? You know what I'm saying? We were like, we're done with the loans, bro. This guy was player of the season in France when he played for Marseille. But you still need convincing that he needs playing, bro. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, for me, it's like I said, bro. This is one of them situations where Arteta just thinks one way and then is forced to do another. And then he realizes, hey, bro, this is actually not as bad as I thought it would be. And I think Ethan Nwaneri is the same type of situation.
Yeah. That's a great point you made there with the Saliba thing. And that's a defender. He normally gets his defensive work right.
But he was forced to play Saliba after a very good loan.
That's why it's so alarming, because normally I give him credit with his defenders when he picks them, because he's the one who signed Saliba. He normally gets the defenders right, and he got that wrong with Saliba. Because there's a reason why Benjamin White wears the number 4 shirt, because he wanted to get rid of Saliba. You know what I mean? He gave him Saliba's number but Saliba was just too good. He had to play him like he stumbled upon, the Saliba thing. And even Saliba in that year we went into the season with Rob Holding was still better. He didn't need that third loan. He didn't. You know what I mean? So yeah, if he's misprofiling defenders that he's good at.
By the way, he didn't sign Saliba. He signed Gabriel.
No, it was Emery. Emery signed Saliba.
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't say Saliba, I meant to say Gabriel.
Right.
Because we signed Saliba, kept him there. He came back, loaned him again, and then loaned him again. That third loan is the one that I'm saying he didn't need.
But he was forced after he was the player of the season in the French league. So.
Yeah, he saw Saliba as a part of that reset at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to reset the team, sell some players, and buy his own players.
Yes.
So for me, Saliba was just an afterthought for him, and then he was forced to play him, and then he realized, bro, I have one of the best defenders, young talents in the world at my disposal. Why would I sell him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think Ethan would be a same type of situation, because trust me, Ethan is just going to get better. You know what I'm saying? At this moment of time, when he looks a little bit rough and still a little bit raw, it means that this guy just needs guidance, needs improving. He's very young, and if he improves,
I don't think he's raw, T. I think he's a solid man.
I think
no, sometimes he can be a little bit rash. Sometimes he can. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to admit that.
Yeah, Ethan is. But the thing is that if we call Ethan raw and rash, what do we call Nunny?
Bro, he is well done. You know what I'm saying? It's over.
Not well done, bro. That's medium rare, bro, and you can still see the blood inside the freaking meat. That's
medium rare. Medium rare is perfect, bro. What you mean? That's like the medium rare is like Yamal, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Medium is perfect. Medium is perfect. Medium.
Yeah.
I cook it myself.
No, but I wouldn't sell him, bro. Selling this guy, especially to Chelsea, is just stupid, in my opinion.
No, that's medium well.
Why would you sell him to a rival? You know what I'm saying? It's like one of them, bro.
Yeah,
and he has Xabi Alonso as well, and Xabi Alonso would 100% play him. You know what I'm saying? And he would get the best out of him. So yeah, no, because remember Arda Güler, how he started shining under Xabi Alonso? I see the same with Ethan, and I'm being genuine.
Yeah, Ethan is a must.
I hope you're right, man. But let's see how Arteta works out with him, because I don't think he will play him, man. But another player that might leave Arsenal Football Club, and it's been reported that Real Madrid are looking into Calafiori. Okay, as you can see here, the post that says that Vardiol is in the radar of Real Madrid. For Bayern, and also Calafiori not advanced so far, but it seems that there are some talks between Madrid and Calafiori, and that's what Jose Mourinho wants, and he requested to have Calafiori. So the question is to the panel here: would you guys sell Calafiori to Real Madrid for a good price?
No. What's a good price, though? What are we talking about?
Good.
Wasn't it around 67? 67 mil?
55 million.
No, but we want 67 for him. Yeah, I read.
I don't know. I haven't read how much was the asking price for Arsenal Football Club, to be honest. But let's entertain this. 55, 60 million, around about that range. Would you sell him?
No, I'm not. I'm not selling Calafiori. Here's the reason why I'm not selling Calafiori. Because I don't want Luis Kelly to go back there. If we have Nketiah and Calafiori, we have two left backs that we can
out. Your reasoning, Chad. Yes, oh my God.
Because that's what's going to happen. If we sell this brother, then it becomes Nketiah our starting left back, and then Skelly our back. No, I want Skelly in the midfield, because honestly, I do believe this. If over the next 3 seasons, Luis Skelly plays 6,000 minutes, so that's 2,000 minutes a season. That's not a whole lot. I'm not going to say games, because games can be manipulative, where you play 38 games, but you only play 10 damn minutes, right? If he plays 6,000 minutes, 2,000 minutes plus per the next 3 seasons, by the time he's 22 years old, world class. World class. Like what I gave Calafiori. Now a lot of people were on Calafiori in the first season, but I'm like, oh, you know what? First year.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough, Darren. I'll give this scenario. Let's say that Arsenal signs another left back, just for the sake of the argument, okay? So that somebody can replace Nketiah. Let's say he's our main guy, and then the second player who we sign is going to be our second left back. would you consider selling Calafiori to?
Because we already have it. We already have him here. Like I don't get it. You know, why would we sell and disrupt our entire system? We have two Premier League winning left backs. Sell one of them just to get a.
So you rate Calafiori.
I rate him enough that him and Nketiah, like Nketiah, I would start and just rotate them in, and I would rotate Benjamin White and Timber. But it keeps Kelly in the damn midfield, where everyone says our best midfield is Kelly in the 8. You know what I'm saying? So for that reason, like moving Calafiori shouldn't be a high priority for us right now. It should highest priority should be left wing, serviceable deputy for Declan Rice. And maybe I want to keep Benjamin White, but I don't know how the injury is going to go. Maybe a backup for Timber. But left back, another left back. So this would have been getting rid of Tierney, Kivior, and now this guy.
Well, this is the thing. I want to ask.
Yeah,
and Tomiyasu as well. Yeah. What about this comment from Social Joy? He's saying, "No, I still don't sell Cal because he's 23, and we move him to replace Gabriel, who's 29." So initially, when we signed Calafiori, right, we didn't expect him to be a left back. I mean, we knew he can play as a left back.
I mean, we did. To be honest,
did we sign him as a left back or as a left center back initially?
I think we signed him as a left back. Yes, I think the reasoning of the signing was with the thought that they wanted another Ben White on the left side who can attack very well, but is a center back profile. You know what I'm saying? And Calafiori is literally that profile. He's a tall, strong lad, and he goes forward very well. You know what I'm saying? So I think we did sign him as I didn't, bro. Ever since we signed this guy, I did not think this guy is going to be a center back, because in my head, this guy was just another Ben White.
So would you sell him, T, if we get 60 million or something around that range?
I'll say this, yeah. I wouldn't touch the defense at all. Like, leave it as it is. Because why would you... bro, how many goals did we concede in the Champions League? Like 1 in the knockout stages, 2 in the knockout stages, and 0, almost 0 in the group stages?
Yeah, those are pens.
2, I think. One from Inter and Bayern, I think.
Yeah, PSG pen. I think Atletico Madrid pen. Man, no one played through us.
Yeah, exactly. So why would you change that? Is my question.
No,
because you create
because of his
situation.
His injury record. What do you think of his injury record?
I mean, it's not the greatest, but we do have Nketiah in the meantime, and we've seen that Nketiah is a very, very good player. I think the rotation that we have in the left back right now, for me, profile-wise, is perfect, because you have a left back who can bomb forward, who can play as a midfielder, who can play sometimes as a striker even, aka Calafiori. The amount of times he goes forward, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have a left back who is a pure defender, a narcos gangster. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them, bro. Wallah, Nketiah for me, bro, that guy is the real butcher. You know what I'm saying? They call Lisandro Martinez the butcher. This guy is the real butcher, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he does it cleanly as well. So you have two opposite profiles. Yeah,
clean cut, you know.
Yeah, it's a clean cut, bro. No, you know what I'm saying? No fat, no nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Big up,
big up Johnny. No, but what I'm trying to say is I understand the injury history with Calafiori, but then I question why are we looking at Livramento, because he's just as worse. You know what I'm saying? He's just as bad. So why are we looking at another injury prone player for the right side to replace Ben White, who apparently is injury prone? You know what I'm saying? For me, I don't think the injury situation with Nketiah should not be an issue, because we have the rotation piece for Calafiori, and when he's fit, he's a good player. So why would you sell that, in my opinion? For me, like I said, my overarching point is do not touch the defense at all. Just chop and change in the midfield and attack, but don't touch the defense. Just keep it as it is. You know what I'm
saying? Fair enough. First of all, big up to you, Gianni. Welcome onto the show. Pleasure to have you as usual. Gianni, your fellow countryman, Calafiori. He's the hot topic right now.
I know where this is
my
going.
opinion on him.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
I want to hear because it's good to have different opinions in the matter. I mean, we all know what Calafiori is about, but we heard also rumors that Real Madrid could be lurking around, could be looking at him and inquiring about Calafiori. Would you personally sell him, Gian, if the right price has been offered from Madrid?
If they're dumb enough to pay 60 million pounds, sell him in a heartbeat and see what else you can give Real Madrid if they're that stupid. I'm sorry, sell his ass immediately.
So would it? I mean, Taron raised the point because he said, okay, if you sell Calafiori, then you are enforced in a way or shape or form that you have to play Skelly on the left back, where he's completely opposing playing Skelly in the left back, which I agree with him, by the way. Mm-hmm. And that means that you're going to have to go reinvest on a left back, basically.
Mm-hmm. And my bad, I interrupted you, but I want to add this point as well to that question. If we sell Calafiori, that means that we need to go in the market for another left back if we don't want to play Skelly at left back. So, which means that we need to pay funds for another defender when we need midfielders and attackers in this team. So you need to use that money elsewhere, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to add that to the question as well.
And then the left back has to come learn our system.
Yeah.
Calafiori already knows it. You know what I'm saying? I will do anything to keep Skelly out of that left back.
But see, okay, I hear that, but here's the problem. When you talk about systems, we play two completely different systems when Hincapié is on the field and when Calafiori is on the field. Mm-hmm. We play two completely different systems when it's a different choice at the left back, first and foremost. Second of all, with the game that with Skelly just had, if Skelly ends up going back to the left back, then he had no intention of keeping him in the midfield. And Skelly going into the midfield is why we got over the line and won the league. So for me, we need to either way, Skelly needs to go either start or he's going on the bench as a midfielder. Now, Calafiori, here's the problem with keeping Calafiori, and this is an uncomfortable conversation for everybody, but he's not that good of a defender. Let's just be honest here. The guy has to get doubled up with whoever's playing on the left wing, which we've already complained about, takes away from our attacking prowess with how much defensive work our wingers do. We saw it in the Champions League final once again. Yes, it was against PSG, but we've seen that more often than not. Whenever we play a team and Calafiori's playing one of the top wingers in the Premier League, you have to either see Gabriel Magalhaes cheat over, or you have to see Trossard or Martinelli drop back and do more defensive work because he's susceptible to being an idiot. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to let this go. Everybody hypes this guy up when, at the same time, a 17-year-old American kid destroyed the shit out of him with Bosnia. I'm sorry. The guy doesn't show up when it matters. Never has. The team that he left was more successful when he left, when people try to say this guy is good. If you're going to damn near double the amount of money of your income on him, you're going to have the funds there to go find a straight-out replacement if you're selling him for that much money to what they're linked to. So sell him. There's other guys out there that are better than him. We had this conversation the last time I was here. I'm selling him and go and get Truefair in a heartbeat. I'd rather have Truefair as the left back anyways compared to Calafiori. And he still goes up and down the pitch and we've seen when we were going over the stats that the guy can pick out assists as well. I'm sorry. Calafiori is not that good of a player. I don't care who wants to try to have this argument. He's not that good. If you're going to double your money, sell him. You have the funds there to go get your replacement.
See, I hear the Truefair shout, but Truefair was good at Bournemouth. Just like it's the same energy I'm keeping for Iraola. He was good at Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. Just like Kirkes was good at Bournemouth. At Liverpool, his ass. Now, we have a better left back in Hincapié, which I think we keep and start. I think Calafiori won is because if you remember the Bayern Munich game in the league phase, Kelly actually started that game and he was getting cooked. He was getting cooked. And one of the first praises that the negative gooners gave Arteta is that he saw that Skelly was getting cooked and brought on Calafiori. And Michael Olise is no punk bitch. You know what I'm saying? And, he did the job there. The main reason is we know that Skelly is a midfielder. Skelly wants to play midfield. We think our midfield is much more balanced, and we don't want to see the more stinky football. If he's in the 8, Decker's in the 6, and Eze in the 10. And if Calafiori can come in, get the minutes and the rest in Hincapié's legs, I think the money that we would need to go spend on another left back would be better served elsewhere, is what I'm saying. So for
what
that
about
reason,
this player, Robinson from Fulham? I mean, he's an American, isn't he?
Nah.
No?
You'll just get a weaker, and especially that's not an Arteta type left back. Let's be honest, guys. He likes to play the more taller and stronger guys. You know what I'm saying?
This is my second point. Is there possibility that we can change the way we play and start playing an actual left backs, an actual fallbacks instead of having this defensive players in the left back, basically the center backs going to the fallbacks. Do you think that's an idea we can entertain, or Arteta should actually look into?
Let me say this. We don't have a left back problem at Arsenal. I'm not when I look at squad improvement, I don't think the left side is oh shit, we need to fix that. I don't. I think Nketiah is good.
It's not, but it's an opportunity of sales that it might not happen again, where you're going to get, like Gianni said, 60 million, whatever, and you can double up your money with a player that you can get rid of from your books, as well as getting profit from him. And his injury record is not that great as well. So
his injury record is not great as a starter. His injury record wasn't great when he was our starting left back. He is no longer that. That spot belongs to Calafiori now.
But he was an injury prone. He's been injury prone his whole career. This is the thing people don't understand. When he was playing one game a week in Italy, he was injury prone. The guy is not that good of a player. Again, like I said, my worry is this with going on with Calafiori. First off, Nketiah, as Terrence said, has earned the right to be the starting left back for this team for the foreseeable future. Calafiori is not the starter anymore. However, we all saw that he pulled up with cramps and was already banged up at the end of that Champions League final. You're now going into it where a lot of people are predicting Ecuador is supposed to be a dark horse out of South America to maybe go farther in this tournament than what we expect. So you have to worry that if guys are coming back with short rest, that they're going to be prone to injury coming into this next season through the beginning months of the season. I'm looking for somebody who's at a higher level of Calafiori to pick up the slack. Since Calafiori is not at the World Cup, I'd rather give somebody else who's better to pick up the slack going forward. And then, like I said, because the team that he claims he wants to go to is Rome. Rome is not going to pay the same amount of money Real Madrid is talking about paying. So if you get the opportunity to flip it for the money, that's why I'm saying I would get rid of him.
And for me, I just want to add to that. Even if that's true, and even if I agree with you with the fact that, yes, maybe there should be a point where we need to replace Calafiori, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe we're in a rush with this decision, because we have other positions in this team that need to be replaced and fixed first before we think about a position that is already working, which is the left back. You know what I'm saying? So for me, if we sell Calafiori right now, which I can see a reason for that, it would create another problem with this backroom staff that they now need to buy another defender. You know what I'm saying? For me, the focus should be midfield and attack in this window. And maybe in the future, if Calafiori keeps playing well in the smaller games that we want to go all out of attack, because those are mostly the games that we want to play Calafiori. If he keeps playing well, he will keep that price tag. I don't see him suddenly dropping to 40 million the next season. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's one of them situations where we need to give our focus on other positions, which is worse than the left back position first. And then in the future, when we have the luxury to look at, okay, now we can sell a big player like Calafiori and replace him with someone else. You know what I'm saying? Because if we, like I said, if we do that right now, it would cause another problem, and it would just, they need to do more work. And I need all their focus on the attacking part of this team.
I hear with what you're saying, but let me flip it like this. That's the mentality that you do when you're still wondering what it takes to build to win a team. If we got all this money and now that we're the champions, you're supposed to act like a big team. You go knock all that shit out in one transfer window, like all the real big teams have done. So this is where I'm saying, like, if we're going to progress, if we're going to have a shot at going back to back in the Premier League, which has not been done that often, you need to take gambles whether we like it or not. And that's the reason. There's no point of us talking about all this extra money and everything else if you're not going to move like a big team. Scared money doesn't make money. That's an old saying. So if you have all this extra money floating around, go knock out the left wing, go knock out the other midfield, go get the backup for Timber, and go get another left back. I mean, we got 7 or 8 transfers last year. 4 new transfers is not going to make that much of a difference if we do that again this year.
But Gianni, it's not about having the money. It's just the market opportunity is what is in hand right now, because Real Madrid just knocked the door and they want to buy Calafiori, right? We wouldn't have this conversation if Real Madrid didn't want to buy Calafiori. So, and I agree with T, the priority should be other positions on the pitch. We should look at in the left wing. We should look at the midfielder first. I 100% agree with that. But when an opportunity like this presents itself, you need to seize it, just like the great Eminem said, that we need to see this opportunity. That, okay, if you can sell Calafiori on a profit and go and upgrade, good. But if not, and things stay still, then no, I wouldn't look at selling Calafiori. I wouldn't look at selling Capio, or even improving the defense in general, because I think our defense is probably one of the best, if not the best, in Europe. So I would consider going looking for attackers, look for wingers, look for midfield. But because the sales is happening, and yes, you're going to sell Calafiori and you're going to need to reinvest on another left back, then yes, okay, I will look into the left back situation, right now, because of the sales that is happening. But overall, I agree with T that we shouldn't look at the defenders as a priority. The left wing should be the priority.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because guys, let's also not forget, just to add to that,
and Gyökeres should be sold in the attack. Everybody except Saka and Gyökeres should be sold in the attack. That's the main focus of this transfer window. I'm simply saying, if you're going to get doubled the money for Calafiori, take the money and run. If they're that dumb to fucking double the money for him,
you guys rate this player?
Look at that one to Spurs.
Senesi, he already went to Spurs.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you guys rate him.
Because why would you get another guy who's going to want to play starting minutes onto the bench? You're talking about keeping the continuity of the team. You have to take into account of those type of situations as well.
He's going to back up Van Ramiro, and we're talking about him at Arsenal. Where's my slap button?
I think Romero is going to be sold. Yeah, it's fair. T, you wanted to say something before we move on to the next?
Yeah. I wanted to say, bro, let's not forget, we already this transfer window, we already spent like 50 million on fucking Hincapié, bro. You know what I'm saying? So if we sell Calafiori and buy another defender, that means that we spent like 100 million on a new left back.
That's true. Actually, it's going to hit the books this season. You're right.
But again, that's something to be concerned of the years on past when we were worried about money. It's either one or two things cannot be true in this situation.
Splash the cash.
Two things like that cannot be true in the same situation now. It's either you have the money or don't. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
No, of course. And I'm not saying we're broke. Gianni, don't get me wrong. Trust me. I'm not saying we're broke. Trust me, bro. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying we cannot buy that volume of players that we did last year. We're not going to do that this year. I think this year the board is focusing on buying a few players for big money. And I'm thinking about like 3, maybe 4 players in total, bro. I don't see us buying another volume of 8 players or something. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see them every window chopping and changing and buying 5, 6 players. I don't see them. I don't see them doing that. You know what I'm saying? And that's not me. These are not my wishes, by the way. I just know how it goes at Arsenal every time. Sometimes we buy players and sometimes we don't. So, and I think this window is one of them windows that we're not going to buy a lot of players. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Splash the cash. But splash the cash on the attack. That's it.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Another listen, we're going to big up Arteta, right? Because that's what we do. We love Mikel, yeah? Like, Mikel is the first manager in recent memory that I can remember who won the Premier League without any world-class attackers.
Yep.
So let's go get some world-class attackers, put him in front of this defense.
And it's his fault that the attackers regress. It's not nobody else's fault. But anyways, that's a different topic. Another player that we're gonna move on to the incoming and the players that Arsenal are interested. There are solid confirmation that Arsenal are gonna sign a left back, by the way, from PSG, a youngster called Emmanuel Mbemba or something like that. And it's almost for free. I mean, it's almost 150,000 pound, which is nothing. And this guy seems to be a solid talent from PSG. I don't know much about him. Okay, so I'm not going to pretend that I know much about him, but he seems like a left back for the future. But you guys consider this as a good move for Arsenal to secure more youth players? I mean, in general. Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Gianni.
this has got Michele written all over it. For those who may not have remembered, the first major signing that Berta brought in was the head of scouting from Napoli, which is Michele.
Yeah.
This is exactly a type of signing that he will do, where he'll find a player out of nowhere for very cheap, and this profile of player ends up turning out to be worth 10 times the amount of money. I mean, you can run down the list of all the talent Napoli's done under Michele, Vara, Hamsik, the list goes on and on. So for me, I just let Michele
How
do.
old, out of curiosity, because I don't watch Napoli much. How old was Kvara and all these talents were signed by Michele and Napoli when?
So Vara was spotted at 17. He was signed at 20, and they got him for 10 million euros.
Okay.
But it's not only him. Like, look at Medic Hamsik, they got for like 5 million, and you saw what Hamsik turned into as a player.
Yeah.
Michele is very, very good at finding very good quality players for low amount of money. And it turns out to where he always ends up picking the right ones, and they end up going for big money. I mean, he got Fabian Ruiz at 17 for 25 million euros, and then turned around and flipped him 3 years later for 50 to PSG. So, I mean, the guy knows what he's doing when it comes to his scouting network. So, I mean, he's just very good at picking out talent no matter where it is.
So we should take your word for it and trust Michele's signing. T, do you agree with this signing? I mean, if he turned out to be a superstar later on. I mean, he's 18, coming from PSG.
I mean, of course, I feel like players for this amount of money should not even be in a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We all, as a club, you always need to improve your youth. Always stack up on young players. You know what I'm saying? For this amount of money, this should not even be a conversation. This guy's a good talent. Spend the money, bring him in. You know what I'm saying? We've seen players like Marquinhos enter this club for a few million. So at the end of the day, if I spent this money on these type of players based on the advice of a guy who is very, very experienced in this end, like you guys mentioned with Kvara and other Napoli players, I would trust his word and buy this player. And even if it doesn't work out, bro, it's 150K. You know what I'm saying? It's like like Kifesh. You know what I'm saying? This should not be in a conversation, in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that Marquinhos deal is a shady deal, bro. I'm telling you this until today.
No, that was
shady.
Edu whitewashing some money and, you know what I'm saying, sending it to his Brazilian bank account, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's one of them, bro.
There's contractors there in Brazil. But anyways, Tarrant, you agree with the lads where they mentioned about this player? He could be an addition to the squad. I mean, 18, by the way, he can break to the first team as well.
I like the price.
I mean, he's not that young.
I love the price. You know what I'm saying? I love the $3.99. You know what I'm saying? I love the price. And listen, I'm looking at PSG. Like, it's PSG under 19s. He really hasn't touched pitch for the big boys. But I will say that I trust. You know, I talk about La Liga tax for attackers and this tax for attackers. The French league, when it comes to defenders, I trust it. The defenders that come out of France, I do trust it. They produce some very good defenders. So, big up to the scouting department for tapping back into the French market that made us dominate, you know, when we used to dominate. But yeah, man, Saliba played in France. Gabriel came from France. You know, Man United hype up Lenny Euro because he played in France. You know, this guy. You know, there's a lot of good talent coming in. And listen, the French team are the favorites to win the World Cup because they have a second team that didn't go to the World Cup that could damn near win it. You know what I mean? The talent
Not
is
France, yeah, they have they're stacked with talents. Bro.
Yeah, they've always been stacked. Stacked as fuck, bro.
So,
yeah.
I like it.
Is this true? Edu chose Marquinhos over Kvara. Is this?
So originally what happened was Vada was in Russia. And then when the situation with Russia and Ukraine broke out, he went back to one of the big clubs that is in Georgia. And Edu, I forgot who told Edu about him, but Edu basically said all we have was $7.5 million. They were asking for 10 plus some add-ons. Napoli said, okay, we'll give you 10. We'll give you 10 and $1.5 million in add-ons. And Arsenal came back with Edu, and he said the best we can do is $8 million. And they went with Napoli because Napoli forked over the extra money, and then Edu chose Marquinhos over Vara essentially because he got Marquinhos for cheaper than what Vara was. But Vara was only 11 million euros. And then you see when they sold them with all these add-ons to where Napoli basically got 90 million for him. So again, this is what I mean by Michele. Finds a player for 10, 11 million and flipped them for 90.
So basically what you're saying is Edu lowballed for Kvara, and then he could have gotten Marquinhos for free, and instead gave him 2 million and went to the boss and said, hey, boss, see, I found a winger and only spent 2 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes,
so basically that's what he did, bro. What a fraud, bro. Well,
Yes. Wow,
He
didn't know that.
He didn't last 9 months at Nottingham Forest.
know.
It speaks for itself.
Yeah, and that's not the craziest thing that Edu has done. And I think the most criminal thing that brother did was made Kai Havertz our highest paid player before he even kicked the ball for us.
Yeah, but okay, I'm not blaming that on Edu.
Willian, the contract to Willian is a controversial one too, because Willian was done by the time he came to Arsenal from Chelsea.
Yeah,
that one's up there too.
Yeah, but I'm going to be real. I'm going to cut Edu some slack. I know he pulled the trigger, but those are both Arteta signings, and he pushed like crazy to get those players. So Havertz, I understand, but those are Arteta signings, bro.
Yeah,
You know
no, I'm not gonna cut him some slack. No, I'm not gonna cut him some slack. He doesn't have the balls to say no.
Listen, okay. I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah, I love a roast session. You know me. I love it. But Edu also refused to buy Madueke for Arteta. You also need to remember those things, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know he signed Havertz, but he only signed it because Arteta wanted him. You know what I'm saying? But Madueke, he said no.
Signing him is one thing. Like Arteta can want the player, but Arteta has nothing to do with the contract negotiation. You are the sporting director. You had something to do with the contract negotiation with the fee and the salary.
Yeah, okay. That, if you say it like that, then yes.
Yeah,
it was a very bad deal.
Paying full price for Havertz and then make him the highest paid player before he even kicked the ball for us when we just came off the back of a title chart. That's when you should have given Saka 300K.
Yeah,
that's when you should, because this completely
adjustment. Yeah, if you look at it that way, then yes, I agree with you. He basically bought like FIFA 15 for 70 euros. You know what I'm saying? Like for full price when it's a very old game.
The analogy is mad, but yeah. Speaking of players and the Serie A specifically, Gianni, I would love your opinion on this player because I watched the highlight from him and I'm not impressed whatsoever. Okay, and this is now the noise around this player. What's his name? Manu Kone. Yeah, 40 to 50 million from Rome. Now I don't know anything about this player. I just watched a couple of highlights, and he doesn't look like a 40 million player in my opinion. He seems like a DM from what I've seen. Well, from what I can tell, that he's a DM. I'm not sure he can play as an 8 or whatsoever. But is he a good player? Is he worth that price tag?
I think 50 million is a little high. I would say more, in my opinion, he's a 30 to 40 million dollar player. But if you get him, for me, he's a defensive midfielder. He's not the best with creativity and goal scoring. But as far as one of those defensive midfielders that can run all damn day, that's him. So you're basically getting another profile similar to Declan Rice. I think he might be. He's not on the same level as Rice with the ball. I think not. Let me take that back. He's at the same level as Rice with the ball at his feet. But again, going forward is not his forte. His ability is being able to play consistently 80, 85 minutes with no problem going up and down the pitch and being your defensive enforcer and winning the ball back. Going forward, he's not better. I was actually going to say, if you're going to be looking at more of an 8 to be box to box and be more goal scoring, I would take more of a chance on Kefren Turam, or even if you went down the line of Manuel Locatelli playing in his proper position and not being in the holding midfield role that they've misprofiled him at Juventus for 4 years. But Kone, if you're looking for maybe a guy who's going to fill in to be the backup for Rice and be given minutes and not like Norgard, I think Kone is a good signing, but 50 million is a lot of money for him.
Is he better than Anguissa?
No.
So this is why it's a problem for me, because I've seen Anguissa do well at Napoli and Serie A, but at Fulham, trash. He was ass when he was at Fulham. You know what I'm saying?
To his defense, I think they misprofiled him at Fulham, where they tried playing him more in an attacking role, whereas Anguissa is much more used at Napoli to win the ball back and be that physical presence in the midfield, and then he allows Lobotka to be the controller and the metronome to running the midfield, and then allows either Zielinski or in this case now Scott McTominay to go forward. I think Kone is similar profile like that to Anguissa. Now Anguissa the last few years has gotten way better at scoring goals, but Kone for me, he's a defensive backup midfield for Rice, nothing more. I would not. You're not going to see much of a difference of the offense if he was like signed and they're going to try to put him next to Rice. It would be back to square one, like how it was with Zubamendi.
Yeah, then it's a no for me. Then that's when I would turn my eyes back to Newcastle for Bruno G. You know what I'm saying? That's I wouldn't. It would be a no for me.
Yeah, Bruno G is way better in my opinion. Even though I didn't watch much of this player. T, would you think this is a good business to keep on buying defensive players? I mean, Gianni just gave us a brief about him. He's a player who's a DM, basically a number 6.
I know him. I know.
You know him? I don't know him.
Yeah.
So
I remember this guy was linked with Liverpool a few seasons ago, if I remember correctly, like 1 or 2 seasons ago. They were linked. He was linked with Liverpool, but it didn't ended up happening. If I remember correctly, he still played at Mönchengladbach back then.
Yes.
This guy. But yeah, you know what it is? This signing just screams for me like, but remember by 2022, 2023 when we bought Jesus and Zinchenko and we wanted to start building something. I believe this guy is a player for that type of situation at the club. For me, if we buy this guy, he would be an upgrade on Norgard, but I don't believe he would be good enough to actually play some hard league games for us, for example. You know what I'm saying? Correct. I don't believe this guy is up to the
not even as a backup.
He can be a backup or maybe a substitute player, but I don't believe this guy is. This guy doesn't wow me personally. You know what I'm saying? I'm not jumping to buy this guy. You know what I'm saying? And if we ended up not buying him and buying somebody else, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those players, solid player, but for me, it doesn't bring the wow factor that sometimes you need in your signings. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this guy can only be a backup for us, and he can never be. When I look at how he is right now, I don't see him being a starter for Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? In any way, shape, or form. And playing him and Rice next to each other, bro, that's going to give me headaches as well. So I don't need that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Taryn, I mean, from what the guys just mentioned, that obviously he's a DM, and obviously he's not in the levels that we're looking for at this point and phase and stage of Arsenal Football Club as a champion, as a reigning champions of the Premier League. We're looking to improve. But the question imposes itself that, are we going to sign somebody like a Declan Rice to stay in the bench, right? Or are you going to buy a player that has the potential, maybe because he's young? From what I read, I think he's 24, if I'm not mistaken. So he's quite young. So he has a lot of years ahead of him in terms of development as a midfielder. Would you consider him to be in the bench, or would you go find somebody who actually can compete with the likes of Rice, Zubamendi, and Skelly in that midfield?
Yeah, someone who can compete. Like, we're in a space right now where we're looking to repeat and dominate. By dominating, I mean win 2 of the next 2 Premier League titles, right? Now, if you go look at if imitation is the best form of flattery. So let's look at the last team that dominated this Premier League, right? The Man City mold, and look at the midfield, the quality of midfielders that they had when they had KDB, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and Rodri. 4 quality midfielders, and only played 3 of them at any given time, and rotated them properly. You know what I'm saying? So I think Bruno G comes into this fold. We have Declan Rice, and we have Eze, we have Skelly, we have 4 guys who can start in the midfield, and you get that rotation right, and you keep guys fresh, and you cook. Is this guy off that level? If he is not, then we know the guys who are at that level right here in this Premier League. And I think Bruno G fits that mold, because there are games where if Declan Rice is injured or needs a rest and doesn't play, and our midfield is Bruno G, Eze, Skelly, I think it cooks. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this guy fits that mold, but you know.
Look, nobody is arguing that this guy is better than Bruno G. But what I'm saying is, Bruno G, for instance, is a 100 million player, right? You're gonna spend 100 million. I understand, but
This is
I
we're
understand.
shopping differently now, Sammy. We got the American Express card now. We don't
Fair
have
enough.
Yes, we
diamond
got
black card.
the gold card, bro. The gold card.
Black
You know what
card.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
The
Black
VIP
card,
card.
yes.
No,
Yes.
that is fine. That is fine. But if you're gonna go and sign Bruno G, then you're getting a big chunk of your budget, right? Let's say your budget is
Black
300.
card, Sammy. Just throw it in the bag. Just throw it in the
Right.
bag.
Even the black card has a limit. So let's say the limit of that black card is 300 million, for instance, which is allocated for this summer transfer window. So if you're signing Bruno G for 100, then that's 1/3 of your budget, right? Where in comparison, you sign this player who's 50 mil or 40 mil, which is way less, right? Half of the price, basically. So 1/6 of your budget is going for.
Yeah, but it's also it's also half the impact. He's not going to have the same impact as a Bruno Guimaraes as well. You know what I'm saying? And we need to consider that as well, because look at what happened with Norgard. Yes, he's obviously this guy's better than Norgard, but Norgard ended up not playing at all. This guy played like half an hour in the league, bro, in total. You know what I'm saying? He didn't play at all. And when Arteta doesn't like you, he doesn't like you and he doesn't play you. You know what I'm saying? You end up playing Carabao Cup games and we end up losing to Southamptons. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know. I don't believe spending 50 million for this guy is smarter than spending like 80 to 100 million on Bruno Guimaraes. I would still go for the Bruno Guimaraes choice.
Yeah.
I wanted to end my segment with saying that I have to leave, guys. So big up to you guys.
Big up to you.
Big up to you.
Next time I'll join with a proper setup and a full stream, bro. I'm in a hurry, so I have to leave. You know what I'm saying? But I'll see you on the quota anyway.
See you there, man.
Yalla, guys. Big up.
Big up to you.
Cheers.
Yeah. You know, they say you buy cheap, you buy twice. You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
we bought Madueke. We're still looking for, cover there. We bought like Norgard is cheap, and now here we are trying to buy twice.
Look,
quality.
I'm just trying to play the devil advocate here. I'm just saying that, I understand also from a point that if I want to invest in several positions in a very high level, then you're going to have some priority going on. So let's say if you're going to sign a left winger for 100+ million, then it's going to be difficult for you to spend 100+ million on different positions, right? If you're going to buy the top players around the world, like if you're going to buy, let's say, I don't know, Kvara, for instance, you're going to spend 100+.
Remember we were talking backstage when we're saying it's quality over quantity, because we see that Real Madrid are buying a whole bunch of players right now, but who's really scared of Dumfries and Konate and they signed 3 players already. Konate, Dumfries, and another one. But who is really think that ain't scaring nobody? And Bernardo, like no one is scared of that. So it's numbers, it's a bunch of numbers, but no one is scared of. Like, matter of fact, people are happy that Konate is signing for Real Madrid because he is about as close. I think him and Upamecano are the same person. Has anyone ever seen them in the same room together? You know what I'm saying? Like I think they're related, bro. They are clumsy as shit, and I don't think that scares anyone. Now, if I ask you, if the Arsenal have to sacrifice their budget and the only player they could sign this season was Kvaratskhelia, and we have the money for it, would you take that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Quality over quantity, and we run it back with a top left.
Because we have a good squad. That's a big reason why, is we do have a good squad overall. So I think Kvaratskhelia is a ceiling raiser, I would say.
Yeah. So I'm in the boat of splash the cash, go big on the attack. And if it's 1 or 2 players, cool, versus 5 or 6. Remember Arteta's first year when he spent 150 million, but it was like 6 players. When it was Nuno Tavares and Sambi Lokonga and all that was a waste of 150. You could have bought 3 quality players because we didn't win shit anyway, and have a foundation earlier to build on. But then you bought players who are no longer part of the Arsenal project. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is for me. If I have 150 million, I'd rather buy 2 players, top players who are worth 75 million, than spread that out over 6 or 7 players, because you're hardly gonna get lucky, man. Sambi Lokonga, Nuno Tavares, and these, man, they're not after. They rest in the places that we no longer shop. We're in Neiman Marcus now and Nordstrom. And what's the other one? That sell all the expensive.
Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, that Bloomingdale's. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, JC Petty, like you can find some good deal in Macy's sometimes, you know what I mean? But JC Penny and Target and shit and Piggly Wiggly, you know what I mean? We got to shop.
And you know what?
Good boy.
Speaking of splashing the cash, I know that we were hovering a lot in the Serie A, but these are the news that are coming in the last week. Yildiz, guys, what do you guys think of Yildiz? Do you think he is the player? Even though the rumors went down quite fast from Fabrizio, there was a lot of hype around Yildiz and Arsenal going to approach him, all this stuff, but as it seems that Fabrizio mentioned, no chance for Kenan Yildiz exit this summer. Never been a topic as Juventus closed doors already months ago. New deal signed in Feb. Key player and staying even without UCL. So my question is, would you rate a player like Yildiz to join Arsenal Football Club?
I'm going to say no.
Hmm.
I'm going to say, and the reason why I say no is he didn't show up when it counted.
When is that? When was that?
The tail end of the year, to why Juventus dropped out of the top 3.
Okay.
They were in the top 4. They had it in their hands. They let it slip. They were 6 points. They were 6 points ahead of Rome and Como, and allowed the points to fall to where those teams eclipsed them by the last 2 games because of how far they fell. Listen, the kid's a good player. The kid's a fantastic player. He's a fantastic talent, no doubt about it. But I think if you're going to spend $100 million, I think there's other players that are better than Yildiz, in my personal opinion, for that amount of money. He was good. He was good for 3/4 of the season, but when it came down to it, and when it was time to show up to be counted for that Juventus to not deal with the financial problems that they're now running into because of them dropping into the Europa League, he never showed up. So I think the kid's a good player. I'd rather give him another year at Juventus than just go all in and then he's a flop at Arsenal. That's my personal opinion. He is a good player, but like I said, we can't have players who don't show up in the big moments if we're trying to have a period of dominance. Otherwise, we're going right back to the same team that we were the last 3 years, where we didn't show up when it mattered.
Fair enough. Taryn, as Javi said, the player didn't show up. Do you think that is relative to the team that he's playing with? Do you think the team is not helping him to, reach to that potential and actually impact the game and be more effective? In your opinion?
No, because I think they have a better team than Como. From 1 through 11, 1 through 15, and yet they're behind, and they're finished, behind them. Like you heard me say the Serie A tax is a thing that I believe in. I see a lot of guys cook over there, come to the Premier struggle. Now, it's not a blanket, right? There are exceptions to that rule. Now, I'm hoping that this guy is an exception, and this specific player will be the player that I watched the most this World Cup, because I will admit that I haven't watched him a whole lot outside of the Champions League. So I'm going to watch him closely during these and just watch him with an objective lens, so to speak, to see if he's going to be the exception to the guys that come from Serie A and come in the Premier League and bang. But I'm not moved yet, not for that level of money at 21. But
yeah,
more evidence will change my mind. But I'm not there yet with him.
Honestly, I couldn't care less because I don't rate the player. So there's for me, I would sign Liao over him, and I said that many times.
Yeah,
he does love him some Liao.
Yeah, man. But speaking of, because it's available, man, he's 40-50 million. I would sign him. I know that you guys don't rate him as highly, but there are options.
For 40-50 million, I take a chance on him. It was when
me too.
When we had that conversation earlier in the year where we were disagreeing, it was Milan was in Champions League still, and they were talking 80-90. And it's like, hey, I'm not spending that much money on a guy who, again, I could say the same thing for Yildiz as Liao. In the last few years, he's never shown up when it's counted for AC Milan. But 40 million euros is a whole different ballgame than 80-100.
Yeah.
But here Sean is saying, my earlier comment, I think we are willing to sell and banking on him shining at the World Cup to inflate his price. Forget, well, the World Cup taxes is going to happen, obviously. If the players do play very well, you're going to see the price double up or something like that. Yeah, but
there's a couple of his teammates, though, on Turkey. I know we were having the conversation about getting, when we were talking about Kone because of the price. There's other players on Turkey that play in a similar style that he does that I would be willing to look at that are going to be cheaper options if we're going to add a decent amount of players to the team to have better options for than him. Like you have Barış Yilmaz, you have Yunus Akgün, you have Yunus Akgün, both the Galatasaray who have been there for a while. I mean, they've won 4 straight Turkish titles now. on the Turkish national team, you also have Ektor Koglu as well, who's a very good left winger, played well with Benfica and Fenerbahce and Galatasaray. So, and those are guys you can get for cheaper options. So if we're going to look at it like that, I would look at it for some of those other guys. But Yildiz for 100 million after what I saw last year, I'm cool on that.
Well, the player that has been, the noise about this this last week, and I want your thoughts about this guy, Vini Jr. Right, and it's mentioned that Vini Jr. hasn't really renewed his contract with Real Madrid, and there's a lot of civil war going on in Madrid, a lot of revamp and the election of the presidency there and all that stuff that is going on. Could you see guys Vini Jr. joining Arsenal? Do you think he's the right player for us? Do you think Arteta would want such a player at Arsenal Football Club? Go ahead, Terry. You seem intrigued to that.
How reliable is this touchline? Because, like I said, I'm not on X, so I don't know who.
No, it's not only this lad, but this was really hyped up last week. It was the talking, conversations and news about him. It could be a rumor, but as you know, we do entertain the thought of it. So, would you want to sign a player like Vini Jr.?
Now, I'm reading it, and it says Mikel Arteta has asked the executives to attempt this, so that means he would want him. Now, I know I just said that we're shopping in Bloomingdale's and this, and I think that's gone through a lot of Arsenal fans' heads to the point where they're saying they don't want certain players at the club. We're talking about big game players. You're talking about winning the Champions League. You know what I'm saying? I was in Paris in 22 when this brother said he has big game moments in him. But the problem is he's a passenger. Arteta doesn't like passengers. Does that mean Arteta is willing to change the way he plays, or he's going to give Declan Rice more work? Now, if you're going to have a passenger, having the best defense and one of the best sixes in the world is formula for having a passenger luxury player like Vini. So I think in that capacity, it can work. But if you're asking Tehran if I would take a damn serial Champions League winner in my squad when we're trying to win the damn Champions League, you're goddamn right. I would. Now, I'm not a fan of some of the shit that Vini does, but I don't come to sports for my morality, innit? I come to Arsenal for trophies. You know what I'm saying? I know where my moral compass is in the world. So, big game player at the highest level. You can play for Real Madrid and win the highest honors at Real Madrid. You can do it for Arsenal. So, if you're asking me, hell yeah, I would take Vini in the team. I'm not. I don't think we're in a position to turn all those up at one of the best left wingers in the world, given the situation of our left wing.
Fair enough. Gianni, what about you? You think we should go for him? We should splash the cash for Vini, spend 110, 120 million and get this player?
Or it cost that much? I thought it was on the last year of his deal.
Well, how much do you think Real Madrid will ask for?
Well, if you're on the last year of your deal, it shouldn't be 100 and nothing.
Well, for Vini, I think it's going to cost us 100, in my opinion. They haven't really announced or set the price tag, but I'm assuming it's 80, 90, 100, somewhere around there. It's not going to be less. Plus his salary is 300 plus, I think. What is his salary right now? Let me check.
His salary is high.
Very high, I'm sure. Vini.
Yeah, we played Kai 280 something, bro. Like, what are we doing?
Hey, listen, you ain't got me on an argument there. Listen, my whole thing with
480.
Damn. That's a lot.
So that's what, about 425,000 pounds a week?
That's a lot.
480,000 pounds a week. Euro, sorry, not pound.
Yeah, I'm saying the conversion would be like what, about 425,000 pounds a week?
Let's do the conversion, man. Euro
to
pound. Still, it's a lot, but let's see.
I mean, that contract would make him the
400K.
400K. Yeah. Listen, I'd do it. The only thing with me with Vinny is this: as long as you're giving me the Vinicius Jr. that helped win Real Madrid win 2 doubles in 3 years, I'm cool with it. But if you're going to be Vinicius Jr., who every time somebody touches you with a pinky, act like you got shot with a 50 caliber sniper and you're rolling around like an idiot for 2 minutes every time, then no, you could stay your ass in Madrid. That's my whole thing. If you're going to go back to what we've seen Vinicius Jr. do in 2 out of 3 seasons with Ancelotti and the rest of those guys, I don't even think this is up for a debate. Because now you're talking about a guy who's going to score you 20 plus goals as well as your striker a season through all competitions, which is what we really need. And I mean, Taryn said it. Him, Vara, and then whoever else you want to have a conversation are the best left wingers in the world. So I wouldn't say no to bringing one of the best left wingers in the world to the team. However, like I said, it depends what Vinicius Jr. we're getting.
I think Gyökeres would love this though.
Oh yeah,
I think Gyökeres would be eating this up because Vinny, when Eze passes the ball out to Vinicius, if you watch Gyökeres' movement, his movement is always there. The problem is he runs and then Martinelli loses the ball, or Trossard does 4 checkdowns. Check. Vinny is kicking that motherfucker into space, and he is getting there. Like we seen the number 20 Vinny before the 7. Benzema was eating good.
Yep.
Off those diagonal cutbacks that he was putting on the platter for him. So I think this would really, really help Gyökeres, and it would keep Saka from getting doubled up on the right hand side. You know what I'm saying? So in that capacity, but yeah, the crybaby Vinny, this guy has more enemies than people who love him. Arsenal have more enemies than people who love him. So now we will get more hate. You know what I mean? And if it leads to a UCL, bro, like if we want to win the UCL, now we're starting to win. Bring in some UCL winners. You know what I mean? Bring in some UCL wingers, and then we'll go. Then we move in it. Big up to Guna Rican in the
real quick before Regan jumps in, just to add to Terrence's point, we've had these conversations about Saka. How banged up injury is he? What is his game going to be like and everything else? If you consider the fact that with Saka and Eze are going to be more of your creators for the team, Vinny is more than capable of being a finisher along with Gyökeres with the way we can make our offense that much better. Way more consistent than any left winger we've had the entire time. That Arteta has been here is Vinicius Jr.'s goal scoring record. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm pulling out right now is his stats quickly before we go to Rican. So I'm going back 3 years, which is a good sample in my opinion. 23-24, he scored 24 and assisted 11. So that's 35 GA out of 39 games. That's insane. 24-25. Okay, he scored 22, assisted 19. Shit, that's 41 GA out of 58 games. And last season, let me go to the last season. 25-26. He scored 22 goals, assisted 14, so that's 36 GA out of 53 games. So as you can see, his goal tally is insane, right? Insane. The question I will have to Rican, and I had this problem with him before because I said that I would have signed Rodrigo over Vinny before. And the reason why I said that is because of his attitude. Do you think with that type of attitude that he has, plus, moving from the La Liga to the Premier League, that's another question that you will ask, would he adapt right with the Premier League and also to the Arsenal Football Club? Arteta asking him to defend a lot and all that stuff, which he doesn't do anyways in Real Madrid. So with all these concerns, Rican, would you sign the player for a hefty amount and pay him top dollar, which is almost $400K a week?
First off, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Big up to you, man. Big up to you.
And big up to BBK and Taryn and Sammy.
Big up, bro.
Before I answer that question, I'm gonna talk about something else, right? I think we're forgetting that our owners like money. This guy's shirt sales alone would break anything we've ever seen.
Big facts. Big facts.
Right?
It's true.
His commercial success, his commercial equity would be more than we've ever seen. I mean, he would have Thierry Henry type people buying his kits. Like, he'd be on par with Henry as far as shirt sales, right? So our owners like money, right? If we got to pay him a few million for Adidas to give us more million per year in our next, better sponsors, better this, because we have one of the most marketable players in the world on our team. I think we're not taking that into account, right? I think that if this guy comes here, he doesn't have to change. Arteta has to change, right? Because once you go into a room with this guy, I'm paying you 25 a year. This guy's making me 50. plus, right? So do I want to listen to who I'm paying, or do I take more account? And that's what's happened at Real Madrid and Mbappe, right? Mbappe has that power because he's come here and he said, listen, unless it's Don Carlo, I ain't listening to none of you guys, right? my shirt sells. Ain't nobody like, you remember the Temptations? Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. They coming to see you. Right? That's what it is. And that's what Mbappe has done. That's what ain't nobody coming here to see you anymore. They coming to see me. Right? Nobody coming to see you, Mikel. They coming to see me. They want Vinny on the back. Right? So I think we have to consider that. If he comes here, Mikel Arteta's got to change. Because I guarantee you, hey, Vinny, go track back. I'm sorry. How many shirts did you sell this week? I ain't tracking a damn thing. Right? How many trophies have you won? I've won a lot. So until you can show me that we can win, I ain't tracking back. And then once he does that, the rest of them will be like, Gyökeres will be like, shit, I ain't tracking back either. And then something has to change, right? A player of this caliber will show what kind of manager we got. Because up until here, Mikel Arteta's had yes men, right?
Don't you think that will disrupt the unity of the team and the squad?
Bro, I don't want to hear that. Did it disrupt the Galacticos, right? All of those egos in the old Galacticos, did they disrupt? No, they won everything. You think that MSN didn't have egos? They won everything, right? Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, those are egos. Every good player in world football, every top player has had an ego. Name one who hasn't, and I'll call you a lot. You have to be. It doesn't matter how humble they may seem. They all got egos. Iniesta had an ego. Messi has an ego. People have said Messi has an ego. He doesn't portray himself that way, but I guarantee you Messi runs things very quietly. It's his way or the highway, right?
Yeah, I think that could make it work, man. I think that could make it work. Because when you consider that even our vice captain is Brazilian, speaks the language and will be able to communicate to Vinny when he starts on his dumb shit. And if you look at Benzema won the Ballon d'Or in 2022, courtesy to a lot of the work of this guy. And this is the thing. Teams fear playing Arsenal because they know they can't play through us, and they fear our defense. No one fears our attack. With Vinny, I think that changes a bit. Those counter attacks would look, because Mikel essentially wouldn't even have to change how he plays drastically, because our counter attacks would be like our set piece. It would be a weapon. Because when we seen Eze over the top find Martinelli on those counter attacks, now you just have a player with the same blistering pace, but with way more tech and composure, who has done it at the highest level for the biggest club in the world. So I don't know where Arsenal fans, some of them get off. That's your business, but I know where some Arsenal fans getting out talking about, oh, we don't want one of the best left wingers in the world in our team. Like, come on. Like, the harmony is one thing, but
for him.
Yeah, and the same people who are saying that it won't upset the harmony are the same people who are asking for better football. Like, the players who are going to come in and give us better football will upset the harmony. Upset. As long as it ends
one without the other.
Yeah.
Correct. And the other thing is, I trust our guys like what we were saying earlier with T. I trust our defenders outside of Calafiori, but our starting four that we went into that Champions League final with, Ngapié has grown a lot, but you're going to get Timber back. So you're going to have your good defenders already there. You can open up and give up 3 or 4 more goals a year as long as you're scoring the same amount more. I mean, again, so I'll remember something. We're the second lowest goal scoring team in the Premier League in the last 10 years to win outside of Leicester City. That's going to have to change. Yeah. It's not going to be sustainable to keep scoring low 70s amount of goals each season. Somebody's going to break out and score goals. So for me, Vinny, I think, especially what you were reading off, the amount of goal contributions he had. And again, he has that many goal contributions, and they've said the last 2 years were down years. So if that's a down year and now you've got a good unit that's going forward now a little bit more, like Terrence said, the link up with him and Gyökeres may do some damage with a guy like Vinny with them.
I think it'll unlock Saka as well. I think you can't, if you have Vinny and Gyökeres, you can't double up on Saka. You've got to help somewhere else. Everybody's got to have their man. And then Saka's going to get more shape and more space.
I was just going to say, Eze in more space as a proper number 10 to be able to facilitate with those three on top. And even so, he may not be he's most likely not going to be the starter, but let's just say he somehow he gets the start because he played well the last 5 games. Look at how much more fluid Trossard and Saka looked with Miles Lewis-Skelly as the 8 alongside Rice than it being Rice and Zubimendi. If you have another midfielder come in that's allowing more freedom to that front four, you're talking a whole different animal as far as going forward.
Morgan Rogers, Vinicius.
But the question, the question is, I want to pose is tactically now. Now let's look at how Arsenal plays football, how Real Madrid plays football, and how Vini Jr. likes to play as a player. Now the system that Madrid plays is a bit attacking football, right? Transition, very fast, almost similar, quite close to Liverpool when Salah and Mane and all that, like gung-ho football. And this is where Vini actually thrives, is the spaces. Now the way we play football is unfortunately very slow build up, right? And there will be a lot of, they're going to play a low block. Most of the team are going to play a low block against us. Now, the question is, tactically, would Vini Jr. thrive in very small amount of spaces given to him? And obviously, the aggression of the Premier League is much more than the La Liga, as you guys know. This is a fact. So would he thrive in such an environment, circumstance at Arsenal Football Club?
You think La Liga teams don't play low block? Mm-hmm. He plays for Real Madrid.
To a certain degree, they open up. They open up.
Like teams will say, "Let's go, Madrid do it." And they're known for it. And guess how many?
But they attack. They attack, Rican, right? They attack. They don't just sit back. They attack. Actually, they attack Real Madrid or Barca.
Now.
Maybe
but Vinicius has been there. They attack now. The stats you read, they weren't always playing this attacking football. Diego Simeone has started doing this because he's got Julian Alvarez. But before. He's played the way he's always known how to play. And Vinicius carved them up every single year. I watched Sevilla. I watched Sevilla try to hold on. We ain't holding on. We getting dish ragged. I'm sorry. Right? We put 5 behind, we put 8 behind the ball. He's still dish ragging us, right? The thing with Vinicius on the side is you can play the low block. You still have to account for him. You can't double up. Right? You still have to, if you've got somebody like a Morgan Rogers, if you got someone like Vinicius, you got somebody like Gyökeres, you got somebody like Saka, that movement will open you up naturally. Right? Our issue is that our left side sucks. They're all running quicksand, right? And Martinelli doesn't run in quicksand, but he runs the ball out of touch. So it's like he's not doing anything. Right? Vinicius, he can keep the ball and he can run, and it'll open up the rest of it. Right? They have to account for him. We don't have a player. We haven't had a player on that left side that we've had to account for since my guy Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. We haven't had that guy. We haven't had no one on our left side has Aubameyang when he was forced there, but he's not a left winger. Like a natural left-sided player. We haven't had that since Alexis Sanchez. Yeah, that opens up so much more, and teams have to be mindful.
Yeah, that's big facts. And he's seen low blocks for Real Madrid, and he's seen it international because teams don't open up against Brazil either. Yeah. Right. But take into account, if you step away from the tree and look at the forest for a second, and you realize he plays for a football club with the most pressure in the world. They boo teams off at halftime if your performance is bad, and he has thrived under that pressure. He comes to Arsenal. Yeah, he's not Vinicius Jr. I'm getting a shirt, number 11. Vinny 11 on the left. I'm getting a shirt. And I'll be one of.
I'm at the Armory the next week, bro.
I swear.
With all the patches, bro. I'm waiting
the message that it sends when you're Arsenal and you are the Premier League champions, and then you go strengthen. And I think
that's the biggest thing in that is that you're showing that you are taking yourself serious as a big club by going to make a move like that to go after a Vinny Jr. Yeah. Again, that's what changes. That's what changes the game as far as people looking at Arsenal a certain way for players. Is you going to take a chance on a big name player like that is the biggest key to showing that where our head is as far as going forward. That's the big thing because now, Vinny went there. Vinny just went from Real to Arsenal. Look what Arsenal's doing, and then say in 2 years or so we've hauled in 4 trophies. Now, all of a sudden, it's a whole different narrative once again for Arsenal that the top tier talent across the board we can take from the big teams.
We're not top 4 anymore. We're champions now.
Yep.
Right. So all that bargain, because I was listening to you guys before, all that bargain shopping, that shit's done, man. It's over. That was when we were trying to get to where we are now. Now we have to build on it. We want the Champions League. You're not getting the Champions League with yes, Mikel, no Mikel. You're getting the Champions League with a Vinicius Jr. You're getting it with a Morgan Rogers. You're getting it with guys who will say, bro, I ain't listening to you. I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to do what it do. Right? That's how you win the Champions League. Right? Look at the champions. Look at PSG. Right? You had all these egos and fine. It didn't work. But when they bought into Enrique's system, guess what? They back to back. And we're on the outside looking in. Right? I'm going to ask this question to you guys. If we have Vinicius Jr. in the Champions League final, is it a different result?
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. I think so.
100%.
So if the answer to that question is yes, then that's what we need.
Has he ever lost one?
Nope.
But the problem is our attackers are so bad that genuinely, if I give you any, like Ndiaye, for instance, if I tell you Ndiaye, then obviously he would be better than Martinelli, right? Or better than Trossard, with all due respect, right? And now my problem is with Arsenal, with Arteta specifically, is you got Gyökeres, who scored 100 goals in 2 seasons, in the past 2 seasons, before he joined Arsenal. I know it's the Portuguese league, maybe we don't rate it, that's fine. But you don't go from 100 goals to 14 or to barely 20 goals in a season, right? So that means that there's something that in the system is not helping our attack to thrive. Now, my concern is if we bring on Vinny Jr., Mbappe, Yamal, whoever you want to name, those superstars that are out there, do you think that we can actually, get them to the next level, or at least in the same level that they were before joining Arsenal? That is the concern that I have with Arteta.
This is the thing, though, and this is what I'm saying. If a guy like that comes, who's won somewhere, who knows how to play, Mikel Arteta will have no choice but to change the system. Because that guy, like, not to be negative, he's infectious, right? When he walks into the dressing room, I'm a big man on campus. That's what Gyökeres has done, but Gyökeres only did it in Portugal. You can't deny what Vinicius Jr. has done in football.
Nope.
Just period.
Especially in the Champions League. Especially in the Champions League.
What you just said, Sammy, here's the thing. A lot of us say that Pep Guardiola is one of the greatest managers of all time. Pep had to do that with Haaland.
Yeah.
Exactly what Gunnar and Taryn both said. Look here. Everybody at Bayern Munich became a yes man to Pep. You talk to Zier, you talk to any Bayern fan, they say Pep Guardiola's time at Bayern Munich was not successful because he didn't win a Champions League. He then goes to Manchester City, builds a team of his yes men, and he eventually had to realize the hard way that all his yes men were not getting him over the line at the Champions League. Look at how many times the guys that he relied on wouldn't show up in crunch time. Raheem Sterling is missing wide open nets 2 inches in front of the goal.
Tottenham knocked him out. Tottenham.
You're comparing. I'm sorry. You're comparing Arteta to Pep.
I'm comparing.
Talking about.
No, I'm comparing the situation. I am comparing the situation of the two clubs. Pep played a certain way, wanted certain types of players to play his system. He eventually had to realize that he needed to open up a little bit and adjust his style of playing in order to get over the line to get the Champions League. We saw that with Haaland.
Pep tinkers, and Pep changes the way he does.
He's going to have to tinker whether he likes it or not. That's the other point of getting a superstar player like Vinicius Jr. You have to tinker if you're going to continue going. Nobody is going to convince me that on a seat with how we've ran the team into the ground and how everybody was looking towards the end of the year, that we're going to come into this season, run it back the exact same way we did this year and win the league. That's not happening. I'm sorry for everybody who's not going to want to hear it. It's not happening. You need to tinker with not only players, but you also need to tinker with the rotations and everything else. Otherwise, we're going to be running in circles again. So for me, you have to take a chance on a big name player. Because again, we could be making the very same argument about a Morgan Rogers. If we chose a Morgan Rogers over Vinicius, he's going to be a different player because he's going to want to take on guys in the left wing position as well. So again, or in the middle of the park. So he's going to have to tinker no matter what, whether he likes it or not, because if he doesn't tinker, then what happens? Because now that we've all become champions and everyone knows what it feels like to be a champion, we don't want to go back to waiting around 22 years, let alone maybe 2 or 3. So whether he likes it or not, you either tinker or you got to leave and you got to let another manager come into this role now.
So on that too, right? Another thing. Let's say we get Morgan Rogers and we get Vinicius and our attack doesn't fire. At some point, we'll start to look toward the manager. Because you've had Morgan Rogers, who's balled out under Unai Emery. He's done it in the Prem. You've got Vinicius Jr. You've already read how many goals and assists he had. If these guys don't fire with that attack, then there's no one else we can look at. Because it's not just one player, it's the entire system. Now you have to start looking at Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, well, look at Mikel Arteta is so persistent.
The first thing we need to do is get rid of Odegaard. That guy is the reason why Gyökeres looks like crap. That guy's trash. He is straight garbage, bro. I will drive Martin Odegaard back to Norway myself. Put him in the car, put his shit in the boot, put his wife in the passenger seat, and drive him back to Norway on the Eurostar, bro. I'll do it myself. I just need him out of Arsenal.
Odegaard is going to have a great World Cup. I hope he has a great World Cup.
Not even a plane, a boat.
Hope he gives Erling Haaland like 6-7 assists. They get to the quarterfinals, builds up his profile, and then we sell him.
But Real Madrid won't want him back. Once Real Madrid don't want you, bro, then
you sell him to whoever you can just to get him out of here.
Hey, would you take him at Napoli?
Absolutely not.
He's better than McTominay.
No, he's not.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Gianni. Come on, Gianni. You can't hate that much, bro.
You let me know when Martin Odegaard wins the MVP of a league and leads a team to win the title, and then we'll have the conversation.
Oh, my days.
That's mad. Scott McTominay better than Odegaard. Wow. But anyways, guys, I think personally, I think we should go for a player like Vinny Jr. because we do need a profile like him. Like Gunnar mentioned, rightfully so, that we miss a player like Alexis Sanchez. We didn't have a player like him who can take the game from scruff of the neck and actually score and create for himself. And obviously, the goal tally shows a lot that he can score. He has pedigree in the game. And if we are chasing the UCL, then that's the type of signing we have to make, right? And it doesn't. I mean, what's the progress from quarterfinal, semifinal, and losing the final is obviously just winning it. Right, and that should be the next step. I mean, City bought Haaland for that reason, and Haaland delivered. And we need to buy a player similar to Vinny Jr. or the likes of Vinny Jr. for us to win the UCL and probably also win back-to-back Premier Leagues. I mean, if you buy Vinny Jr., you literally are the favorites going to next season. I mean, who's the favorites in your opinion to next season if you buy a player like Vinny Jr.?
Somebody the league or the Champions League?
Both.
I think we're the favorites in the league, regardless.
In the league, yeah, but in the Champions League, still got to be PSG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we signed Vinicius Jr., we have just as much pressure on us to go back to back as it was with Liverpool spending £500 million and shit in the bed the way they did. Yeah. Because anything other than winning, anything other than second place at a worst is the only thing that would be somewhat acceptable if you sign Vinicius Jr. You're in the same category from then if you go out and sign a player like that, especially like you said, all things considered. We're the lowest goal scoring team, but we only gave up 27 goals. You bring a guy like him in there, you're expected to bring that goal scoring from 71 goals to 90 plus. You bring a guy like Vinicius Jr. into the team. So mandatory, you have to go back and win Premier League. And Sammy, same thing as you said. Arsenal walking in, if you're telling me that you got Vinicius Jr. and you go out and either get like a Tonali or a Guimaraes or a Rodgers as your other midfielder addition to the team, you're walking in not only landslide favorite for the Premier League, but you're top 3 for the Champions League next year. It's automatically you and PSG, and then it's up to a debate who's going to be the third team, whether it's a Bayern Munich or Barca. But that you're mandatory top 3 favorite for the Champions League next year. So
fair enough. Well, we reached to the end of the show, guys. Any final words from you, Taryn? Let's start with you, man. Any final words before we wrap up?
Knicks in 6.
There we go.
Making uncomfortable. I'll turn my head around. I'm gonna make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can see him, man. He's looking up, man. It's
that Miami Heat New York Knicks rivalry right there.
But a question to Gunnar. I mean, I see the Spanish jersey out there. I mean, you're a big fan of Spain?
Yeah, I don't support the U.S., man. If anybody watching, don't ask me nothing about the U.S. national team. You
have to be patriotic, Gunnar.
I am patriotic. Listen, hold on. I am patriotic. You see that right there? That's my patriotism right there. Yeah. That's my national team, Puerto Rico. They didn't make the World Cup. So who's the second Spanish team? Spain. Right?
Yeah.
No, bro. I can't.
I can't fake it either, bro. I can't.
Brad Friedel, Bob and Gus Bradley. When I was growing up, and I was watching Ronaldo and Riquelme, and then I had to watch. No, I said no. I chose Mexico. I'd rather watch Ochoa than watch the U.S. national team.
Let's not. Okay, hold on. Let's not get crazy. Mexico ain't. Let's not get crazy.
Mexico at least had some fight, bro. I'm watching robot football. No, I don't like it.
They do have fight. They do have fight.
I also lived in Spain for a couple years, and I like Sevilla as well. So, you know, it was England, but they like racismo. So I'm just like, no. I'm right. So,
any final words from you, Gianni? And I want to ask the panel, who do you guys think we're going to win the World Cup?
Spain.
France.
Or France.
Yeah.
Spain or France.
Yeah, Spain or France wins, but I'm leaning France.
I'm going to say England.
But you say who?
England.
Oh, no.
I live in England, bro. No. They don't even think that's true. Like, they delusion.
I think they have a chance.
They're gonna catch an ass kicking from somebody, but we'll see. No. Listen,
my final word though is Spurs in 7. I hope that is the biggest collapse we've ever seen. But no, in all honesty, bro, I love football. Thank you guys for having me on. Right, you can find me at Rican Football TV, and yeah. I hope we do this again, man, because I like hanging around with like-minded individuals. And I like doing panels with Gianni as well. He's funny, bro.
Yeah, Gianni's a legend.
The Indiana Bears fan.
India.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that day. I hope they go bankrupt them.
Any final words from you, Gianni?
Hey, man. We'll just. I'm hoping for a good overall tournament for the World Cup. As shitty as the situation is as far as empty stadiums and stuff, but I'm hoping for some good football. But I think France is winning, and I hope Arsenal go out and put as the great Kenny Ken says, put your nuts on the table, go get the best players, and let's start a period of dominance.
Yeah, that's what I hope for. And guys, before we wrap up, make sure you hit the like, make sure you get subscribed, and also make sure go and subscribe to every single one of the panelists. All the channels are in the description. BBK Sports, Gianni Talks Calcio TV, as well as Gonorican TV, all are in the description. Please go show them some love and subscribe to them. And on that note, stay safe wherever you are, and enjoy the World Cup, man. As the champions of England, we're gonna just sit, watch, and maybe scope a talent here and there, you know, and raise the flag, you know, so that we can sign those talents from the World Cup. And on that note, guys, cheers.
Peace.